screaming like a siren at night. Red and blue shouting, nobody's right. Smoke in the streets, truth under attack. Everybody's loud, nobody's got facts. Feeds keep scrolling, nerves stay tight. Matchsticks flicked in the dead of night. They sell fear, cheap package the lies, while the clock keeps ticking, empires on fire. Can't sit quiet while the world's on edge. Lines in the sand, standing on the ledge. No script, no leash, no polish, quiet. Just a voice in the dark and a spark to the wire. This is and I'll bring the fire. Gonna light it higher. No filter, no fear, I say it raw. Strike the match, let it burn through the fog. This is and I'll bring the fire. And I'll bring the fire. Everybody's selling truth like a brand, buying opinions they don't understand. Talking in circles, screaming online. Keyboard courage, borrowed spines. Yeah, power plays dressed up as peace. Same old walls with different teeth. But silence is loud when the house is burning. And the fuse is short, yeah, it's still learning. I don't dance for the left or the right. I stand in the heat, I stand in the fight. No strings, no chains, no manufactured choir. Just gasoline thoughts and an open lighter. This is and I'll bring the fire. Gonna light it higher. No filter, no fear, I say it raw. Strike the match, let it burn through the fog. This is and I'll bring the fire. And I'll bring the fire. World's on tilt, pressure climbing. Truth don't whisper, it's perfect timing. You can't cancel the smoke, you can't stop flame. Say my name when it hits, say my name. Why? Say my name. Say my fire don't ask permission. Fire don't need a side. Fire just shows up honest and exposes the lies. This is and I'll bring the fire. Truth is harder. Burn it down till what's real survives. No smoke, no mirrors, just heat and lies. And I'll bring the fire. And I'll bring the fire. America, fire. Strike it. Let it speak.
What's up, everybody? You know what I love? I love waking up the morning after a night of MAGA winning, MAGA spreading. And listen, I get it. Nothing is done fully in California. I know. But wait till we go over what happened last night. If you weren't there last night, even if you were, we got more results this morning. And I got to tell you, even though it's not finished, what happened last night put out a shocker to the Democrats, to the globalists, to the establishment Republicans. They are not happy. They are scared because MAGA, my friends, is alive and well in this country and thriving and growing and spreading, and Trump and the team and all of us are winning. And California proved it again last night. It was a beautiful thing to behold. So we got a lot to cover on midterms and the primaries last night. And then I got to tell you, validated with Trump came out in an interview, admitted the whole Bibi call happened just as reported. So that that puts a damper on some people's abilities. You know, I'm not that smart. I'm not the most genius guy, but I did figure out one thing, and that's Trump. Once you understand him, it makes everything so much easier to understand. And so on top of that, we got the globalist establishment freaking out over this Bill Pulte thing. We got to cover that. We got to cover the justice movement. And then we're going to deep dive more into Shawn Ryan and Megyn Kelly's doomer blackpilling Podcast-to-Stan episode where they are just trying to run the PSYOP that it's all falling apart. And that will be in today's Grifter Report. So a wild, full show today, guys. And I hope you guys are ready. I'm going to tell you, this is my energy this morning. This is my energy. Here's Scott Bessent. This is my energy this morning. Here's his answer to Ron Lizard Face Wyden. Ron Wyden is the number one example that the lizard people conspiracy might be real. Just saying. He's the strongest example. But here's my energy this morning. Here's Bessent representing me.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
let's be clear here. Nobody is interested in the ramblings of a capo in the most corrupt regime in
Lizard
American
man.
history. We want to get some facts about this deal. That's what we're here for. Thank you.
Well, thank you, and I will ask my questions first today.
And we would like to hear what Adam Wyden and Jeffrey Epstein talked about. Your son's largest investment position was Rick's Cabaret.
Ooh.
So did your son and Jeffrey Epstein talk about pole dancing as he begged him for money using your limited credibility?
You could hear a pin drop after that one. Ron Wyden's face, his lizard eyes just went flashing and unbelievable. Oh my God. Scott Bessent with the nuclear bomb on Ron Wyden's career right there. Unbelievable. It's fun to be MAGA. I got to tell you, it's the most fun thing in the world. You guys want to know why I'm always optimistic, why I have a sparkle in my eye, why I'm a happy person? Well, it's Jesus. That's number one. Number two, my family. Number three, though, it might be MAGA. It might be a part of this gravy train we're all riding on that's destroying the establishment globalist wing of the world, calling it out, having the best people on our side, the smartest people, the snarkiest people. I love it, man. I love it. Let's, one more time. Let's just listen to Bessent drop that absolute nuclear bomb and then the silence that follows. They couldn't even say anything.
Adam Wyden and Jeffrey Epstein talked about your son's largest investment position was Rick's Cabaret. So did your son and Jeffrey Epstein talk about pole dancing as he begged him for money using your limited credibility?
Look at the smile right here. That is just like, oh my God, I just destroyed him. I'm gonna just chill for a second here. That is a very satisfied face, begging Jeffrey Epstein for more money. I love Big Gay Patton. I love Scott Bessent. He's the absolute man. The absolute man. All right, guys. Well, before we get fully into it today, please hit that like, hit that subscribe. If you like Bessent, if you like seeing Democrats, especially the ones with lizard faces, look at her face. She's just like, oh my God, he just killed somebody. Her face right here. Oh man, too funny. But yeah, hit that like, hit that subscribe. We're going to get into it here in just a second. Job for 9 with the $5 super chat already. Thank you, sir. Says great job last night. Thanks for the hard work. You're welcome. Last night was a lot of fun. I like doing the primary shows when they make sense. It's a lot of fun. Cassandra Hughes has joined the Basic Ace Hole membership. Welcome, Cassandra. You now have access to the members' lives. Glad to have you here. All right, guys, let's get into, let me say hey to the chat, and then we're going to get right into it this morning. Kasink, what's up, my brother? Numero uno today. We got one of the many, Nick Majors, Bobby Girl, Donna, Chia Maria. That one's a tough one. Kim Trump, Foundation Preacher, Jay Tyrus, Gen X MAGA, Doc No, Teslan Joe. We got Mark R, Pat M, Jeff Jingles in the house, Motley Cruel, Toe Cramp, Mark R. Oh, I already said Mark R. LED, Scott Volkovich, Henry Perez, Francis Riley, Saved by Grace, Dallas Hote, Dan the Man Green, Smokehouse, K. Shuey, Rum Dog, up in here. George Papa Nicola. We got AZ Tropic, I Love Music, Pixel Snap over there on Rumble with SoCali and Chrissy Katz, and many, many more here on YouTube. Sorry, guys, you didn't make the cut today, but next time you could get the shout out. Just get here just a little bit earlier. Just a little bit earlier. I just can't call out everybody. If I call out everybody, it's takes too long. I will call out mods, though. Katie Cat, what's going on? Nick Majors in the house. What's up, guys? Nick, easy on the block today. Nick does great work. He just accidentally blocked somebody yesterday. And I hope that's all settled. But I think I figured it out. But Nick, you do great. I just had to tease you. All right, you guys ready to get into it this morning? You guys ready? All right. Well, first of all, let me establish the rules of the chat. Yeah, we moderate our chat. I know not everybody does, but we moderate the chat because it's better when moderated. We don't like the trolls, man. Trolls are not welcome. Bots, trolls, we kick them out. And that's why the chat is awesome, because it actually frees it up to have real conversations without a bunch of spamming nonsense, trolling nonsense. So be respectful in the chat. That's what we ask for, to be part of the best community on YouTube. Be a part of the chat. Please ask questions, answer people's questions, challenge me if you want, all respectfully. Do it honorably and respectfully, and you'll be celebrated. You'll be a part of it. Disagreements are welcome. I'm the guy on the mic, so sometimes I might go back at you pretty hard, but it's all in good fun as long as we're respectful. And if you want to really get my attention, tag me. And if I can't see it because there's just too many chats and you just got to get it to me, or you want to just support the channel, super chats are guaranteed to be read. All right. Them's the rules. Thank you very much for your attention to this matter. All right. Sniped Your Head did tag me. It says tides of history have truly shifted. I'm fully convinced we thwarted World War III with the Iran engagement. Amen. I think you're probably right with that, along with a lot of other stuff that Trump has pulled off. Hermit says, what's so nuts is Besant, having cut his teeth under Soros, knows how the wicked people operate. He knows they lie. He knows how they lie, and he's coming for the jugular. Love it. Yeah, Besant's a man. Motley Cruel, this is a test. She is back. All right. We all good? I think we're all caught up for now. Let's get into it. Pre-recorded. Who's pre-recorded? I've never pre-recorded a show at all. All right, guys, today, even though California is the big story we're going to get to, and that will be the longest segment, I do want to start with something else. Oh, Super Chat just came in, so hold on a second. Mr. Bedhead with the $10 Super Chat. Thank you, Bedhead. I appreciate that. Best positive energy podcast on YouTube. Addicted to the show. Keep it up. Man, that means the world to me. Thank you so much. Yeah, greatly appreciated. Really, really thank you for the support. You guys are the best, man. You guys are the absolute best. Yeah, Motley Cruel, your tag worked. Okay, now we'll get into it. I'm going to actually start with the Iran updates today. It's not too long, and then we're going to go into California. But that was a mistake. The reason I wanted to start with it is because we had a big argument yesterday over whether or not Trump actually said what he said to Bibi Netanyahu. I'm here to report today that Trump did, in fact, go after Bibi yesterday, and he admitted as much in this interview, which we're going to be clipping this interview quite a bit today because there's lots of good stuff. But here is what Trump had to say in his call to Bibi yesterday regarding the Middle East.
Axios reported that you had a phone call with Bibi Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of Israel, in which you were angry with him. You said, are you effing crazy? What are you effing doing? I helped you stay out of jail. Is that true? Did you speak to him in those terms?
I did. I wouldn't say angry. I was a little bit perturbed at his constantly fighting with Lebanon. At some point I said, Bibi, we got to stop this. We got to stop it. But I have a very good relationship. We've done well together. He always says, we could never have done it, but everybody knows that we could have never done it without the United States. But I've worked very well together. I like Bibi a lot, and I've worked very well with him. We had You know, I'm a wartime president. He's a wartime prime minister. Very important part of the world. And I think we've done, very well. We've gotten along very well together.
Interesting. He says I'm a wartime president. Isn't that interesting? Because this is not officially a war. You guys understand that? We did a strike, a military strike, which lasted a few weeks. And then we backed out into ceasefire for the last 2 months. There is no official war declaration. Trump has been at peace for 5 of the 6 years 5 of the 5.5 years he's been president. And yet he called himself a wartime president. Isn't that interesting? I have a feeling, guys, Trump just gave us a little insight into what's really going on. Now, lots going on here as well, because he also just proved yet again he is not Israel's hound dog. He does not, bark when they say bark, jump when they say jump. He is his own man. And this is, again, why I actually believe he's the one who signed off on leaking the call yesterday, because it accomplished a lot as far as image, as far as putting the deep state, everybody on blast and letting them know, like, I will make phone calls, and that's all it takes for me to shift the tides. Now, they already know Trump isn't controlled by Israel. The PSYOP is wanting you to believe he is. They want you to believe that Trump has no control. They continually want to make it sound like Trump is weak. They always want to make it look like that. He's weak. He's dumb. He's foolish. He's brash. Whatever it is that's not positive, they want to paint Trump as that. And yet this call showed a leader who's completely in control, who brings his people in line, even other countries, especially the country that everybody's psyoping us to believe that controls the world, or at least controls America. He just put that all to rest very easily, and then he affirms it, which goes hand in hand with why the belief is he is the one who allowed the leak. Now, he had to follow it up with a little bit more, and this is very interesting.
What do you say to people who claim that Bibi Netanyahu tricked you into going into Iran?
Well, they're just, the enemy. They're just, the Democrats, DUM. These are Democrats. These are people that don't know what they're doing. They want men playing in women's sports, and they want open borders so the world can pour into our country, and they want transgender for everybody, surgery, and they want transgender mutilization of our children. No, these are just words. That's all they do. It's all they're good for is words. Like, I heard that the other day for the first time. I said, he tricked me. I mean, I'm the one that started it because, again, I don't want to bore anybody, but I started because we can't let them have a nuclear weapon. Now, that pertains to Israel because they probably would have been the first one to get hit. There would be no Israel. Tell you what, if there wasn't me, there would be no Israel right now. And it started off as...
Well, that's interesting, isn't it? If there was no me, there'd be no Israel right now. Again, there are so many things that we just don't know that are going on behind the scenes. And this is why I constantly try to remind everybody that anyone saying that they know exactly how Trump's making his decisions, why Trump's making his decisions, they are lying to you. Every single one of them. If I ever come across and say, this is exactly what Trump's doing, I don't necessarily know that. So please don't take me at face value for that. It means I'm confident. But the truth is I don't know the information he knows. What I do know is that behind the scenes, things are much different than we're led to believe. That the Democrats, the establishment wing of the Republicans, the Podcastistan, the City of London, MI6ers, globalists, they're all lying to us. So I don't trust anything they say unless it can be verified, which is very rare. And Trump will verify some stuff, but just like the leak yesterday of the phone call, he just verified. But again, what did he know? You know what one of the big psyops going on now is, like, to try to ruin the context of everything going on right now? One of the big things they keep pushing, Bibi's been telling us they're going to have nukes for 30 years. Okay, that might be true. That might be true. However, this time it just happened to be right. It's like the boy who cried wolf. And I can't tell you if Bibi was right in the 90s. I can't tell you if he was right in the early 2000s. I don't have the actual intel. I can tell you there's a massive PSYOP right now trying to make it look like Bibi's always been wrong about everything. And I don't think that's true. I don't even think Bibi's a good guy. I really don't. I do think he's a patriot for Israel, not for us. And we have our issues with him, and that's why Trump's got to rein him in sometimes. I don't think Bibi necessarily cares as much what happens here, as long as, unless Israel's fine first. And that's his prerogative. That's his country. That's fine. It's like Putin. Putin's not a good guy, but Putin's worried about Russia first. That's fine. Let's let him worry about Russia. We're going to worry about us. See, get out of this whole globalist mindset where we all need to do what's good for each other. That's just not, we all need to do what's best for our country and try to work together in that. And then eventually everybody will kind of work it out. That's how you get to actual peace. This whole globalist system created by City of London, this time, it's been attempted before, as I taught yesterday, but it was trying to get, it's us versus them always together instead of this versus thing, instead of just like, you guys take care of you take care of you, we'll work out how the details of what we might need from you. It's a whole different mindset. Instead it was, let's make a team together over here, and anybody who doesn't agree, we take over. And this is why constant destabilization in the Middle East. But again, the whole Israel thing, Trump wouldn't just say, why would Trump just offer that information? Why, he literally just said, I did that call, which makes him look like he's not controlled by Israel, right? Makes us very strong, very, very individual, very sovereign for America as a leader. And then he says, if we hadn't done this, Israel might not be here now. He didn't have to do that, because that makes it look like, maybe he's shilling for Israel again, or unless he's telling the truth. And see, everything Trump says here actually makes sense if he's telling the truth. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense because we're getting mixed signals. You guys think Trump's that stupid? The guy who has become a multi-billionaire through real estate ventures and construction, who has become a TV star, had the #1 show on TV for many of 13 years, who became president twice against all odds, spending way less than the other side, media mastermind. Anybody who thinks this guy's stupid or doesn't know what he's doing, you're crazy. And this again goes back to, if you understand Trump, everything else starts to make sense. Trump, he doesn't send mixed signals unless he's telling the truth, and that's where it can make sense. He can be like, we're doing what's best for America. I'm also helping Israel stay alive because Iran was on the end. Now, if you go back to the Obama-Clinton stuff, the globalist push, when we were controlled by the deep state, you know what they wanted? They would have loved to get us into World War III, because World War III is a chance to reset the system, to get all the money going again, to get us out of this debt issue, to kill off a bunch of people, to lock us all down, to possibly destroy our Constitution. World War III is exactly what they wanted. And what a better way to get into World War III than Iran having a nuke and setting it off? This is something to think about. Why has this been one of Trump's main red lines, even going back to the first term? Interesting.
When I terminated the horrible Barack Hussein Obama, the Iran nuclear deal that he penned, and that would have given Iran that was a road to a nuclear weapon, and I terminated it, which was lucky I did. And then I stopped it a second time with the B-2 bombers flying in and bombing the hell out of them. They would have had a nuclear weapon if I didn't do that attack, which, very few people would have done it. If I didn't do that attack, Iran would have had a nuclear weapon, and they would have used it almost immediately.
That's interesting as well. Trump basically says, I've stopped their nuclear program 3 times. In the first administration, I stopped it by ending the Obama deal. That set them back. In my second administration, I bombed them, setting them back again. And yet, they didn't get the memos twice. Now, why would Iran? there's no logic here. Iran's clearly being set back by Trump again and again. Why would they keep pushing it? Well, there's only two things that make sense. Number one, they're controlled by the globalists. They're a proxy state of City of London, and they want to initiate World War III, and this is all part of their plan. That makes sense. Or number two, they're complete suicidal psychopaths, and they just want to get into war and bring about, their destroy Israel, destroy America, and, just be all suicidal. That's possible. Although we've yet to see a Muslim nation do that on that scale. So, I'm a little less, but that makes a good story, doesn't it? Because if that is the true story, then they don't have any connections to anybody else. So they can all hide in the background. I don't know. I lean towards one. But again, it's insane to think, oh, we got this funding pulled from the JCPOA in term one. That set us back. We go through the full 4 Biden years when that would have been the best time to pull this off, to get it going, because the Biden administration would have jumped in, gotten us into World War III in a heartbeat, but they couldn't. They were set back far enough. They started rebuilding, and then Trump sent them a message last year. They wouldn't listen. So now the real message is there, and the whole world's freaking out, especially the EU, City of London types. First war NATO in Europe hasn't joined us in 100 years. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. Why hold out on this one if they are truly a threat? Now, I feel like Glenn Beck was listening to my show yesterday, because Glenn shared this clip of his read on Trump's phone call with Bibi. And I thought I'd share it because there's some good insight here. And again, he agrees very much with my take on it.
Yesterday, a story came out that Benjamin Netanyahu got on the phone with Donald Trump, and there was a screaming match. And he just, using all kinds of foul language and saying, Benjamin Netanyahu, you're a madman, crazy man, you're going to stop it right now, blah, blah, blah. And so I'm shocked by the reaction. I'm confused, I should say, by the reaction. Some people are saying this was horrible, this was national security, and that should never come out. And we need to find the leaker. I'll get to that in a second. And the other side is like, finally Donald Trump is standing up to Israel. Well, Donald Trump has always stood up to Israel, for the love of Pete.
Fact
Do you
check,
not
true.
know who he is now by now? So let me show you how knowing principles solve problems. What are Donald Trump's principles? And some people say he doesn't have any principles. He does. He has a few principles. He loves the American people. He loves America. Okay, we know that. And his principle is America first. You may not always agree with the way he gets there, but he is one of the first presidents that I've ever seen that I don't believe he's making bad deals to enrich him and his family or his party or whatever. He's making the deal that he believes is right for the American people.
Notice what Glenn's saying here. Not only did he say pretty much exactly what I said about the Bibi call yesterday, but he also just told you, you want to understand what's going on, you got to understand Trump. Where else have you heard that? Isn't that interesting? But let's hear a little bit more.
That's one of his principles. The second principle that he has is negotiation. He is a negotiator, and you can find all of his strategies and his principles in the book, The Art of the Deal. So let me bring those two things back to Benjamin Netanyahu. Benjamin Netanyahu gets on the phone. He's doing something President Trump doesn't like. He's in charge of the relationship, okay? And he takes Benjamin Netanyahu on. The reason why I know this is the way he always is because Donald Trump doesn't roll over for anyone. If he disagrees with you or he thinks you're hurting what he's trying to do in America, he's going to take you on. I don't care who you are, Benjamin Netanyahu or not. So anybody who says that Benjamin Netanyahu is controlling Donald Trump, it's not true. If you don't like what Donald Trump did because he looked at the facts that Israel was giving and he's like, okay, then I have to do this, then your problem is with him, not Benjamin Netanyahu, okay? Anybody who says this was leaked, this was not leaked. This was not leaked. They're not looking for the leaker today, I can guarantee you. This is strategy. This is part of the art of the deal.
Yep.
This kind of goes back to, the other day he said, and I don't care about that. I'm kind of bored by the negotiation. Why the hell would you say that? because he's not sending the message to the American people like we think he is. He's sending it to the people in Iran. I'm kind of bored with you. I don't really care that much.
Or City of London. But Glenn's not there yet, and that's okay. He's close. He's close.
Why is he saying that? Because he knows they think that he's panicked about you and gas prices. So he's got to rub this off as like, that doesn't even bother me. I don't even, I haven't even thought about the gas prices, and I'm kind of bored with this whole thing. I've been working on other things. He's got to send that message to them, not to you. So once you understand negotiation and his principles, things begin to become a little easier.
He's exactly right. Do you understand how scary it is to the other side when Trump is so chill about all this stuff? It's terrifying to them. They don't know what to do. They are trying everything. They are like, okay, we won't help you in this Iran thing, and we're going to put a bunch of political pressure on you. And Trump's like, okay. They're like, okay, we're going to hold back our ships because the Strait of Hormuz isn't really closed. Ships can pass. They're like, we're going to tell the ships, do not move, stay put. They're mostly Indian ships. Do the math. India, UK. Stay put, and don't. We're not getting the oil out. We want gas prices to soar, so Trump is in trouble for the midterms, and he hears it from his base. And Trump's like, cool, I don't care about the midterms. They're like, what do we do? They're like, okay, let's try to trigger him. So they're bombing us. They're trying to bomb Kuwait. They send some missiles at the ships. Trump intercepts all of them. No problem. No ship ever hit by the U.S. by them since the initial blast. Over 100 missiles have been intercepted trying to take out the USS Abraham Lincoln. Trump not taking the bait. Do you understand how terrifying that is to them? That they can't get him to move? No blackmail, no control, no panicking, no indecisive, no biting on bad deals to get out. Unbelievable. Glenn's absolutely right. Iran, whoever's in charge of Iran, all that, they don't know what to do with this guy. They've never seen it happen before. Who is this politician that doesn't care about elections? How can we not control him? How can we not make him make a mistake? Yeah, it's driving them crazy. And so what have they done? They've unleashed every asset. Okay, we're going to get the people we can control in his sphere that are talking on the mics. Tucker Carlson, Megyn Kelly. Yeah, that sounds good. Let's grab Candace Owens and Alex Jones. We have them all on retainer. We pay them a lot of money. Let's tell them to all go in at once. That'll surely break him in his movement. You picked off a few dummies. We're glad to see him go. That 2%, we could have lost them anyways. They make us look stupid. They're, the Jews people. They all went bye-bye. We don't need them. We're good with David Duke not being in MAGA. We don't miss him. They're like, what do we do? This is exactly what's happening. And Glenn, I am so impressed by Glenn Beck by nailing it like this. I'm telling you, I think Glenn watches my show. I don't think he'd admit it, but I think he is. Now, we are not being weak. We are pushing back a little bit. We keep sending them little messages, and yet Trump is like, the ceasefire's still going. Everything's fine. We're working out a deal. Meanwhile, we are responding when they attack. Here's the latest from Jesse on what went down yesterday.
Fox News alert, there's fresh action in the Middle East. Iran's currently shelling military bases in Kuwait and Bahrain with ballistic missiles and drones. So far, all of them have been intercepted by U.S. forces. And now U.S. Central Command's responding with self-defense strikes on...
By the way, all of them intercepted. Every missile, every drone. You understand, again, how terrifying that is to them? They thought they had something. We had Scott Ritter and all these morons, Douglas MacArthur going out there, or McGregor, Colonel McGregor, General McGregor out there. Oh, if you go into Iran, it's going to be terrible. They got the super duper hypersonic missiles that we cannot stop, and they will be bombing us, and it is a quagmire like you'll never experience again. China will join in. It'll be World War III. Meanwhile, wrong about everything, and their missiles suck. Stop buying missiles on Temu. Don't do it. Don't do it, Iran. But they did it. They got duped. They thought, oh man, these budget missiles, they look just like American made. They look just like American made. They look like they're handmade. We're going to buy those Temu missiles. Well, you get what you pay for.
Hesham Island, right at the hook of the strait. This all started earlier today when the Iranians began targeting commercial vessels in the Gulf with drones. We knocked all of them down. Our Navy also hitting back, blasting a blockade runner heading toward Karg Island. CENTCOM forces gave the ship, the Botswana-flagged MT Lexi, 24 hours to turn around. She didn't. So our Hellfire missiles pierced straight through her engine room. That's now the 6th ship disabled so far. The message is clear.
Do you understand how nice we are that we gave 24 hours? That's amazing. We are way too nice, but it's a good thing. It's a good thing.
If you want to test the blockade, you're going to pay. The mullahs still have some fight in them, and are also showing new signs of life. For weeks, we didn't know if the gay Ayatollah was dead, hiding in his cave, or just getting a facelift. But now, for Pride Month, he's coming out.
Pride Month, he's coming out.
Are you confident he's still alive, by the way?
Yeah, I think there's indications that, in fact, we've not heard from him publicly. We haven't seen him publicly. And I would imagine, given what's happened to multiple leaders in that system, being very public is probably not something that's recommended for them internally. But that said, I think there are indications out there that he is increasingly engaging at some level, although all of his communications have been in writing and through intermediaries.
Now that we know who we're talking to, we could see a deal at any moment. But the mullahs are slippery.
We are in talks, and I say talks because talks with Iran are not like talks with Switzerland. Okay, they're very different. They require the use of intermediaries, unfortunately. But there is the prospect before us, which could happen today, it could happen tomorrow, it could happen next week, that for the first time.
So we covered this yesterday, Rubio saying this. Again, we're starting to see movement. And again, it's because I think there's panic. And I think half of Iran is trying to get out of this, and the other half is trying to hold steady. The IRGC is trying to hold steady because City of London is like, we cannot lose this one. And meanwhile, we go back and forth. But every time, see, they are blocked off. Their economy is in shambles. They're bleeding out. They are bleeding out. So every time they have some of these missiles and drones go out and they're destroyed without accomplishing anything, that actually is hurting them. So their military continues to bleed out as well. Still haven't seen the super duper hypersonic missiles that were supposed to destroy us. Wouldn't now be a good time for that, Mr. Pedo Ritter? And all you other dummies out there who said Iran was impenetrable and way stronger than we could believe. They have these bunkers underground with all these missiles and they're just going to take it out. Wouldn't now be a good time for that? No, they're still waiting. Okay, bro. Trust me, bro. But it is heating up. They're trying to goad us in. And I'm at the point, so Iranian strike may have hit a U.S. aircraft shelter in Kuwait. So they are goading us because there's nothing else to gain from this except for I'm starting to think Iran wants us to go at them. And I think I'm starting to believe that's why Trump's holding off. See, I'm starting to think, because, it's been getting frustrating, right? Deal or no deal. Strike or no strike. We've been playing this game now for 2 months. I'm starting to think they are trying to get us to attack so that they have an excuse for whatever else they want to pull, or bringing somebody else in, or maybe just making Trump look worse because oil prices would go soaring. I don't know. I don't know exactly what they have planned, but the only reason for them, when their missiles suck, they're not hitting anything really. I mean, they hit this, but I don't think we don't have any people there. They're barely getting anything through. They're just doing these little targeted strikes here and there that are more annoying than anything else. They're not striking anything that ultimately matters. They are pushing on the other Gulf states. It's starting to look more and more like Trump is just holding off on purpose because that's actually more harmful to them than going in. I don't know, but that's what it's starting to look like. And so, I'm just trusting the guy with the info, and I still think this is going to end really well for us. I just don't know when it's going to end, but I got to tell you, Iran's looking weaker by the day, because every time they drop one of these little pipsqueak attacks on us, and 99.9% of them are fully intercepted and the other ones hit stuff that don't ultimately matter to us, it just tells me like they're panicking. They're trying to get something else. It's like the little guy trying to get the big bully to actually fight him again, so he can get the black eye and maybe go like report it to the teacher, and finally get the guy in trouble. He's like, come on, man, let's go. That's what this is starting to look like to me. So, but one way or the other, I think it's pretty clear they're getting weaker by the day. And as they're getting weaker, this makes Cuba look like it's really on the radar for what comes next. Now, this is very interesting. I wanted to share this with you guys. This is what Rubio had to say about Cuba, which I've honestly never heard before. Now, I'm not an expert on Cuba, but listen to this.
Cuba's a very different thing. Yeah. I think the misnomer about Cuba, or the misunderstanding about Cuba's actually not controlled by the government. Cuba's controlled by a military holding company named Gaesa. And Gaesa virtually owns anything. They own the tourist sector, they own mining, they own the gas stations, they own everything. They generate about 70% of Cuba's GDP is under the control of this military company. And they're sitting on between $14 and $17 billion in assets. So you have people literally starving, people literally like power grid that hasn't been maintained in 10 years. And yet you have this holding military company sitting on these assets. And by the way, not a penny of the money in the military holding company translates over to the public treasury. So the fundamental challenge we have here is that Cuba needs to be, in order for it not to continue to be a failed state, which poses a threat to the United States, they need systemic and serious reform. They need to have economic reforms. And the question is, can they possibly reform, given the people who are currently in charge, both of Gaesa and of their government? And I think the answer is they can. I really don't believe this system is capable of reform unless new people take over.
How interesting is that? That I hadn't heard that before. We're always taught about Castro and all that, but Gaesa, and after looking into it a little bit, runs the entire country. And you know where they get a lot of their funding? From Spain. Spain is linked to Gaesa, keeps giving them infrastructure money, investment money from, you guessed it, European funds, which, you guessed it, goes back to City of London. It's all the same system. Very interesting. So by getting Cuba, people have been asking me, what's the point of Cuba? I got asked that when I was on Crypto Riches the other day. And, my answer was, well, we get communism out of the Western Hemisphere. We get, they're very close to us. There's benefits there. And then after hearing Rubio say this and looking into Gaesa, I realized, more City of London, deep state money running through there. Isn't it fascinating? It all keeps coming back. Very, very interesting stuff. So again, Cuba and Russia, Ukraine, and the cartels are all lined up to be taken care of after Iran. And Iran's the one I think Iran, once that falls, the dominoes start falling. And it's going to look very interesting. So let's keep watching carefully. But I think we're going to see, when this is all said and done, just like Newt Gingrich said last week, coming along to my side, he must watch my show too, said that this is going to go down as one of the historic military offensives of all time. And I tend to agree with Newt, especially because I said it first. All right, guys, please hit that like and subscribe. Next, we're going to get into the midterms, which I know a lot of you is why you're here. We're going to talk about California and the and the actual massive turnout last night for Republican/MAGA types, and what it means and why the Democrats' establishment wing is panicking. But first, let me get into the chat. Take a break real quick to catch up with you guys. I have, let's see here, a couple super chats came in. I have Dollman with the $5 super chat. Thank you very much, sir, for your donation. Says Trump said F him, referring to Bibi in 21 Axios interview. Anyone saying anything else is dumb, God bless. Well, we addressed that, and thank you for your super chat, sir, and your support of the channel. Motley Cruel with the $10 super chat says for priority repairs rendered 6-2. You're welcome for that. And she also sent another $5 super chat. Says, I believe Trump will have Iran wrapped up before July 4th. I'd be surprised if it goes longer. Call was staged. Yeah, the call might have been staged. I'll tell you what definitely was staged, or at least released on purpose, because the messaging it got out, the strategic elements of it, absolutely. And I do think Trump is rushing to get it done before July 4th. Well, rushing might be the wrong word. Positioning it to be done by July 4th, because after July 4th, he wants to ride that momentum into the midterms, which makes absolute sense. Teresa tagged me and says, I agree, and I honestly believe he can get the oil prices in the U.S. down if he wants to. He said in Oval Office one day when this first kicked off, he'll allow companies to make money. He did. He also has allowed Russia to make money by unsanctioning some of their oil passing through. So I completely agree with you. And you know what we've been seeing is a lot of countries are starting to find alternate routes out of getting their oil out from Strait of Hormuz. So Trump is totally restructuring the world oil supply by doing this. Ministry of Wrongthink with a $20 super chat. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. It says Iran needs U.S. to fully fight them militarily. IRGC infighting during ceasefires has been insane. It's their biggest weakness, tearing them apart. That's why Trump says a ceasefire is standing no matter what they do. I tend to agree with that. Absolutely. And you framed it very well there. Thank you so much for your support. And yes, the IRGC is having infighting. We do know that. We also know they're having trouble paying their soldiers. And so, yes, the longer we hold off, the longer they fight amongst each other, and we don't galvanize them by attacking. So that is an excellent point. Well said. And we got Brian House and Steve Byron sending high fives. Thank you, sir. And Cassandra turn it up for 800 joules. Thank you so much, guys, for your support of the channel and that fun stuff. So, all right. Let's see here. Anything else right now? Yeah, let's see. What did I miss? Looks like you guys mostly talk with each other, and that's great. That's great. Hermit says, if anyone wants a crash course, you need to look out the trading companies Dutch and Brit operated. Divide and conquer, resource piracy through contracts, trade route positioning, answerable to money. 100%. That's how the City of London financial system got started. Absolutely right. So, okay. Let's get into this, okay? So I want to break down give me 1 second here. Okay. Last night we had a monster showing in California. And yes, the results aren't in yet. It's going to take them a few weeks. They will try to steal if they can, if it's close enough. There's all kinds of chicanery going on. Absolutely correct. Everything I talk about today is not necessarily predicting California goes red this election. But that's not the point. The point, as always, is watching the momentum. Because when you don't watch that, when you only look at results, final results, and you don't look at trends, you miss what's coming. And California last night gave us a very good idea of what's possibly coming soon. And it also showed MAGA and Trump are much stronger than the polls and pundits are telling us. Listen to this.
election.
Yeah, especially if you know LA County the way you do, the way I do. 51% in. And when you look at this, I mean, this is shocking. That's the only thing I can think of. Becerra, 29. Look at that. Steve Hilton, 215,000 votes.
You hear this? Already saying shocking. They're just talking about LA County. Hilton, 23% of LA County is shocking. That is true. That is a shocking number. These guys, man, they're not lying when they say this stuff. These guys aren't like Team Trump. They're letting you in a little bit. This wasn't supposed to happen. Hilton in the most liberal areas of California was supposed to be way down, not finishing second and so still holding first overall.
In Los Angeles County, that should tell you a lot about how a lot of people feel in the Southland about how things have been going and what they feel like might be the proper way to move forward. I'm gobsmacked by that number. Just for some perspective, let me share again. Orange County, this is what you would anticipate, right? 34 to 23, 16 for Tom Steyer. Steyer doing well, by the way, just north of Los Angeles. Let me take you over to Santa Barbara, 28, 25, 22. But even that is a big win. If you're Steve Hilton, you've got to be loving the fact that you're at 25% up in Santa Barbara County. But here's what I really wanted to draw your attention to, if you'll allow me for just a second. I'm going to take you up to just to Northern California, sort of Central California, up to Sacramento County. Look at this. Now, it's a government town. You know that, Trace. So you would expect that Javier Becerra would do very, very well. Hilton well back, but not as far back as some people might have anticipated. But let me share this. If you go in and around Sac, boy, does Hilton really start to pick up numbers, and it's consistent right there, 36 to 23. Pop over to Nevada, again, same thing, 33 to 21. It's going to be a very interesting night for Steve Hilton, and I imagine for a lot of people who didn't anticipate he would do as well as he is doing, Trey.
That's 100% correct. As of right now, Hilton is projected to go to the runoff. They are going to try to steal it, but it's going to take a lot this time. It's going to take a lot. It might have been too big to rig. Because now what they know is Hilton's actually a threat in the general. Does that mean he's going to win? Likely not. Unless there's an absolute red wave and massive things change countrywide to trend upwards for Trump and MAGA in major ways. The economy turns around really quick. We get massive news. Gas prices go way down. There is a scenario where there could be an overwhelming push that could actually get them in. But the win is not what we're looking at right now. What we're looking at is a trend. California came in much redder than expected last night in the early voting. This governor race with Hilton in, as long as he's able to hold this lead, he will put up the biggest fight over governor we've seen since Schwarzenegger. That is a very good sign, especially because the California Democrat machine holding on, rigging these elections is more entrenched now and more powerful now than it ever was back when Schwarzenegger was a Republican who won. It's way, way stronger. And so this is a warning sign to them. They're starting to lose. Now listen to this. PSA to the politically illiterate, MAGA is dead and politically homeless coalition running a full-blown op on the American people. Between 2016 to 2024, Trump flipped 8 counties in California that hadn't voted Republican for president in 20 years. 8 counties. Fresno, Merced, San Joaquin, Stanislaus, Riverside, San Bernardino, Imperial, and Lake. Even with hometown Kamala Harris on the ballot, Central Valley and Inland California shifted hard right. As of this morning, Trump endorsed Steve Hilton's dominating nearly all the same counties. Look at how red they are. Fresno County's almost plus 20. Merced plus 9. San Joaquin plus 10. Stanislaus 12. 3.5. San Bernardino 12 for Lake. Hilton's leading statewide, advancing to November. MAGA isn't fading, it's accelerating. The rightward shift Trump ignite is real, measurable, and continuing in the exact places that matter. Look at the difference in the map from 16 to 24. People are like, California has no hope. California's worse than ever. No, it's not. It's waking up. California's waking up. If this keeps trending this way by 2032, California will be red. It's just the facts, folks. when you combine the fact that California is waking up and getting redder, on top of the fact there's a lot of Republicans who didn't vote for years because they didn't have hope, and now they're showing up again, and then you add the election integrity measures Trump is getting in, the executive order on mail-in ballots. The Supreme Court just announced tomorrow we're getting decisions. We may get the mail-in ballot decision tomorrow as California is counting mail-in ballots, which is hilarious. We may get that decision tomorrow, which means you can't keep counting anything that comes in past Election Day. You change this stuff, you keep deporting, you keep pressuring illegals so they self-deport as well. The case is actually quite clear of how you can get California red by 2032. And if California goes red, oh man, Democrats are going to be a minority party for a long time. Long time. Now, they are going to try to steal it. Listen to the things they're saying, especially about the mayor's race. This is just crazy.
Polling place update's not going to be huge. So if we largely have half the vote to come, and it's going to be vote by mail, and you've already given me now, they've had 3 subsequent vote by mail updates. They're not huge, but they're not nothing. The pattern in them is Bass first, Rahman second, Pratt distant third.
Right.
If that were to be the pattern with the remaining vote by mail, it's going to come in days following the election. If it's 39, 36, 33, 20, something like that, which is what you're telling me these 3 roughly have been, she could erase that.
Did you guys just hear basically what he admitted? That all the mail-in ballots coming in are hard blue. Yeah, that's by design, right? And they're admitting they are going to they're trying to seed the narrative right now in case they're able to flip it. Now, asking for her, the number 3, to overcome this deficit is a big ask. It might not be able to be done. In fact, there's already some places who have called Pratt as advancing. So we'll have to watch. We'll have to watch and see. But the point is they're going to try. And that's obvious. We all knew that. Nobody's saying that's not going to happen. But again, the trend matters, okay? It gets harder and harder to steal each time, especially as the rules are being changed. Now, like I said, some places have already called Pratt. This is Election Wizard, who does really great work, honestly. Nailed the 24 election. Spencer Pratt projected advance to a runoff against incumbent LA Mayor Karen Bass. There's a few others, not the big guys yet. They're going to hold off. They're mainstream media. But their algorithm says Pratt can't be overcome at this point. We'll see. We'll see if they're able to do it. But here's a good idea of what's really going on in California versus what we're being told about this blue state, which is not that blue. There's blue areas. There's blue entrenchment. But California as a whole is more of a red state. I've been saying it my whole life because I grew up there. But listen to this.
It's a much more lively vibe, and in very LA fashion, there's now a chopper flying overhead. He's having his party at a Mexican restaurant that he has loved for years. And there's some Spencer Pratt supporters here who seem in a very good mood. You guys have
Instagram Patriot Wildcam.
You guys have probably seen the latest batch of polling that just came out. Shows him doing pretty well in second place, just 10 points behind Karen Bass. How are you feeling about that? Do you feel really confident that he's going to make it to the runoff?
Definitely, he's going to make it to the runoff. There's a lot of people who already voted for him. Their votes haven't been counted yet. They voted day of the election, old school style. So I think his numbers are going to get better.
What is it about Spencer Pratt that you just is resonating with you?
Because he's speaking out against communism and socialism, and it is a real big problem in our cities, especially in LA where it's turned to crap. It's not an accident. They're doing it by design. Karen Bass wants to destroy our city, and it's nice to see someone like Spencer Pratt.
I can simplify it because those buzzwords are like they melt the brains of like left
leaning people. So let's just say it this way: he doesn't want human feces to be a part of your life. Yeah. He doesn't want homeless children outside.
Totally.
Homeless
Thank
people
you.
outside. Oh,
We
you
have-
didn't
no.
like that.
We have-
you ran away.
We have
He doesn't
talked-
want homeless
Okay,
people outside of
we
the elementary
appreciate
schools
you.
having
Can I get a
sex
shout out real
with
quick?
their
We
own
appreciate
hands
you.
in front of the children.
We appreciate you. We've talked a
I
lot
don't
about the
appreciate
homelessness.
you.
Thank
I
you.
don't appreciate
All right.
you.
I'm gonna
listen.
They didn't want that information going out there on their news channel. She was panicked right there. She's panicking.
Don't
Liz,
appreciate you, ma'am.
I got it.
That's hilarious, man. They're waking up in Cali. They're waking up, and she wasn't expecting to get those answers. She thought she was going to get something more, vanilla, a little more vanilla, but it got up there. So, great stuff. Great stuff. Now, it wasn't just the mayor and governorship rate, but look at this. Democrats could be locked out of California 6. They thought the gerrymandering was going to pick them up, all these seats. But listen, we might save one. This could be a Republican pickup November, seeing as Rep. Amy Barrett currently controls this seat. Gavin Newsom, did he dummy mander California? So they might get locked out. We have a Republican and independent leading over the Democrat in this seat. So that could be very, very interesting. And if that's locked out, well, guess what? As Seth Keshel is reporting, that the Democrats are relying on California to be 44-6 in order to win the House. If they lose even one of those seats in California, they're pretty screwed. And it's also proving there's not a blue wave coming. So again, we got lots of signal last night, guys. Lots of signal out of California that is very exciting. Very exciting. So don't, I don't get the dooming. All right. Dooming is no bueno. Stop dooming. We got trend is in our favor. And again, I just keep going back to this, guys. It's getting redder. 2032. I'm watching very carefully. Especially, let's wait and see what the Supreme Court says tomorrow, because if it blocks the mail-in ballots, whoo-wee, they're gonna have a lot of trouble cheating this year and going forward. All right, and then we have some other things that really interesting last night as well. Okay, so let's move out of California for a minute with more midterm news. But Zach Lane won last night in the primary against Feenstra, who is Trump's pick. Now, I will say this. Trump so far has cleaned up on his endorsements. That was his first loss. Trump didn't even endorse the guy until 4 days ago or a week ago. So he got in late. I don't know why he tried to push him over. There is some interesting stuff about the Zach Lane guy. Now, TPUSA did support him, and he's supposed to be a good MAGA candidate. But I will say I have one red flag about this guy. He is Tucker Carlson's preferred candidate. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean he'll be terrible, but it's something to watch for. And it might be why Trump didn't endorse him. Regardless, he has endorsed TPUSA and a lot of other MAGA types, and it is believed he should be a good MAGA candidate. So we'll see there. But he was the first to beat Trump's endorsement, and he squeaked it out. It was barely. If Trump had endorsed earlier, he probably wouldn't have won. But regardless, it could be one of those where he won by losing. But look at this. Look at the primary turnout. Okay, so in 2018. Only 105,000 Republicans turned out and 182,000 Democrats. We were told this is a blue wave election. Republicans are going to stay home. They're not excited about Trump. Well, in 8 years, again, midterm versus midterm with Trump, in 8 years, we got the Republicans more than doubled their primary voting. You think MAGA's not energized? More than doubled. Whereas Democrats only went up 10,000. That could just be explained by population increase. That doesn't show any more excitement at all in 8 years. So, guys, again, we're being lied to. We're being lied to by so much. MAGA is ready for these midterms, and I have a feeling this is the kind of thing that's like, this is why we're going to win. They are counting. They're counting on us not treating this like a presidential election, because we won the presidential, which proves we are the majority in the country. But in midterms, the lower propensity voters don't turn out because it's a midterm. We're not galvanized to go to the polls like we are for a president, except for when they make the midterms like in a presidential election, when they make it that big a deal. And that's what MAGA is starting to show. Oh yeah, we're gonna turn out like it's a presidential election. If that happens, they are screwed. They are 100% screwed. Now, this is great. While your conservative, quote unquote, heroes continue to shill for Qatar and Russia, Candace, Tucker, Megyn Kelly, Shawn Ryan, all these people, they're out there trying to deflect us, say MAGA's dying. TPUSA, the #1 place attacked by Candace Owens, kicked ass for America last night. Incredible amount of political muscle continues to be flexed by TP Action, proving we're one of the most lethal endorsements every candidate needs. If you're blackpilling, you're almost certainly falling for foreign propaganda. I've told you guys, a lot of you who watch my show, because I know this because I get a lot of comments whenever I bring this up. You maybe have woken up to the fact Candace Owens is trash and a liar. But some of you are still holding on to this belief that she started that TPUSA is bad. But no, they're trying to destroy TPUSA because it is one of the strongest get out the vote machines for MAGA. And it works. Whether you like them or not, TPUSA is important for our movement. And until there's a better replacement, we have to recognize that. Why did they try to take him out? Why did they kill Charlie and then immediately try to prove to us that Turning Point is a disaster? Why are they trying to tear down Erica Kirk and TPUSA with it? This is why. You don't have to like it, but them's are facts. And it was proven again last night. So, whatever you think, I'll tell you what, I'm going to trust the organization Charlie built over any of these Doomer podcast to stand types always. Unless I see smoking gun evidence, I'm going to trust that. I'm sorry. I just am. Because there's no way in hell I'm going to trust anything that comes out of the mouth of somebody who's over in Russia right now meeting with Alexander Dugin. Sorry. Just can't do it. And I kind of think anybody who does at this point might be having a little screw loose. You're wanting stuff to be true that probably isn't. But that is what it is. Now, the Democrats keep bringing in these crazy people, which is also going to hurt them come the midterms. We've already been looking at Plattner and Tallarico and their scandals and how just insane these people are. Well, last night, the Democrats nominated a terrorist-linked congressman. This guy is associated with Amar Abdal-Rahman, convicted of terrorism and seditious conspiracy in 1996. He led the jihadi terror cell of Islamic militants in 1990, assassinated extremist Rabbi Meir Kahan as he spoke at the Manhattan Motel, and then 3 years later, these are the ones who bombed the World Trade Center in 1993. And he was a witness for them, for the defendants. This guy's a jihadist, and they just nominated him to be a House representative in New Jersey. The infiltration continues. However, the difference now is we see it. And you better believe the Trump administration is watching this very carefully. They are not going to let this guy have security clearance. So we'll watch and see how that plays out. Speaking of Tallarico, here's a really fun clip that's going around of him in one of his sermons, one of his crazy psychopath, I'm a pastor, I'm a Christian sermons. Listen to this guy. More and more nutty stuff's coming out. Listen to this guy.
The disagreement about the legality of abortion is not a disagreement about life. It's a disagreement about personhood. No one disagrees that an embryo is biologically alive. We each have trillions of living organisms inside of us right now as we sit and talk in this sanctuary. So the question is an embryo a legal person whose rights trump those of a woman?
Did you hear what he said? A legal person? This is gross stuff. Because the only argument people have for abortion is that it's not life yet. So when you're saying it's life, but it's not a legal person, that's a big rut-row. That is not going to look good for you, especially not in Texas.
I don't know many people who would seriously answer yes to that question. Legal personhood evolves with life, and life is change without clear or definite boundaries. But the only way we can allow the rights of an embryo to trump the rights of a woman is if we believe a woman is not a full person. And let me remind you that that has been the default belief throughout most of human history.
So because it might have been the default belief amongst the wicked of human history, that makes it right? I thought Christians are supposed to be different. Christians are supposed to be above worldly values. This guy is the biggest fraud. And you know, it's going to give me great joy to see him get his ass kicked as somebody who was a pastor for 10 years. He makes me sick. He makes me sick. This is the craziest stuff. But again, it shows you how far the left has gone. This is unapologetic that they're not legal people until born, which enables and opens up the door for making it legal for full-term abortion is also basically what he's advocating. Stuff's gross, man. These candidates, they're crazy. So we have a terrorist, we have that psychopath, and we have all these like Plattner, who's a sexual deviant, and a cokehead. These are the people running for the Democratic Party right now. Now, with all this going on, and we see how we're winning a lot, we got the Megyn Kelly and them. They just want us to believe we're not going to win anything. Here's from the Megyn Kelly Shawn Ryan clip, but this is what they're talking about MAGA right now.
That defines MAGA down to nothing. It's a nub. So what's that? It's not large. It's not important. It's not cool. It's not appealing to young people. It has no future. Much like Mark Levin himself, it's old, it's angry, and
So MAGA's old and angry. I don't know. Do I look old and angry? 42, Meg. But we're winning. And like, this is a great breakdown. It says they need people to believe this lie. It's absolutely true. They are pushing PSYOPs on us to believe this so we doom and we don't turn out in future elections. This is their lame plan to win any elected office in 2028. Network has been coordinating to execute this plan for so long. They've given so much, burned every bridge along the way. They have to keep pushing forward. They can't turn back despite countless losses they've taken along the way, like last night, where we see we're gaining. This decade goes back decades. For what they've done, the strife they've caused, for what they've done in attempt to harm this nation, I'll delight when their lame movement of 1%, broken losers and leeches exposed. Absolutely. Which we're going to see. We're going to keep seeing that over the next couple elections. It's going to get worse and worse. And one of the reasons is the crazy people they're running. Here's the Democrats panicking because they don't know what to do with this Graham Plattner guy in Maine. He's such a psychopath. They don't know how to handle it. Here's the congressman, the senator from Colorado, how he handles being asked about Plattner.
I think that
watch the panic in his eyes.
It's really important for us to have a standard of public behavior for our elected officials. I know there are a lot of elected officials that don't meet that standard.
I mean, you obviously don't think the president meets that high standard that you're talking about. Does Graham Plattner meet that high standard in your view?
Well, I definitely don't think the president meets that standard. He
what about
doesn't
Graham
meet
Plattner?
that standard. I think I think that's a fair question. That is what the election in Maine is going to partly be about.
What's your view?
I'm busy running for governor of Colorado. I think that
what a total fraud. And by the way, this might be one of the only times I ever give Caitlin Collins prop, but listen, look at his face when he's first asked.
You obviously don't think the president meets that high standard that you're talking about. Does Graham Plattner meet that high standard in your view?
Deer in headlights. Silence. Does it? He's like, man, Caitlin Collins, well done. This is their panic, folks. This is their panic. We got Chris Murphy doing the same thing. Here's another great example of another prominent Democrat scrambling when asked about Plattner. You can tell the powers that be, CNN, etc., they got the memo. We got to get rid of this Plattner guy. But the Democrats in power, they don't know what to do. They don't know how to handle it.
I think it's hard to just say everybody should be good and moral. I think you've got to create a set of rules that promote goodness, promote the common good. And that's what this book is really about.
Should those rules apply to Democrats too? I mean, do you support Graham Plattner even in the wake of all of this?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't followed the minute by minute of what's happened over the last few days, but I do think there's a difference.
Well, there's a difference. I write a book on goodness and morality, but when it comes to Graham Plattner, there's a difference. These people, man, these people, it's unbelievable. So pathetic. Now, while they're scrambling, they don't know what to do. I mean, this is, they can't believe. See, the establishment wing of the Democrats who have been there, who are completely co-opted by City of London, and have been running this show for a while, running the party. Well, their useful idiots are their far left voters who keep voting them into office no matter what happens. But those useful idiots have just gotten crazier and crazier and crazier. And because of that, they're losing control of their own party, but they're losing it to the crazies. And the Democrats know this, and they are panicking about it. They're panicking because they're like, we're going to keep losing power because of our own. And we can't get away from them because if we get away from them, we don't have a base. What do we do? And so the base, they serve up people like mushy middle. Well, none of them are moderate anymore, but they come across as moderate. Mushy moderate, Janet Mills in Maine. Janet Mills is who they want to be the nominee. This is why all the Oppo research coming out on Plattner right now is believed to be coming from Democrats. The Republicans are holding their stuff because they want Plattner to be the guy because they're going to dump it all at the general election. In Maine, they have one more month to get rid of this guy and get Mills in. That's what they want. But the base, the crazy cuckoo base, wants Plattner. And they don't care how insane Plattner is. But the base is a small fraction. It's small enough to control the primaries. It's not small enough to win the general election. I mean, not big enough to win the general election. And they know it, and they're panicking over it because the base keeps electing the insane people. Now, that same base wanted Bernie Sanders, and they blocked him twice in 2016 and 2020. He would have won, but they consolidated and blocked him twice. Because they were like, we can't control Bernie. He's crazy. And he is. He's more hardcore left than they are. He has his own stuff going on. He's terrible. He's awful. But he's crazy. AOC is crazy. Plattner is crazy. Tallarico is crazy. Although they're trying to run Tallarico as a moderate, which is hilarious. The Dems know they have a problem. Because they're okay with the crazy stuff as long as it happens slowly and they can't control. But they know that the American people aren't going to accept it. So what they did is they let the inmates take over the asylum. And now they're scrambling to try to get it back. And they don't know what to do. And this is why you see them fumbling over these answers. Because they have to toe this line of coming across as normal to the voters that will win them elections, but also come across as supporting the crazies who are the only reason they have a base at all. And that, my friends, is why the Democratic Party is imploding right now. They are absolutely imploding. Now, look at the polling that's starting to come out. We have this latest poll from Marquette. registered voters or certain to vote, Republicans are now down only 1 point generic poll than the generic ballot. Certain to vote, they gained 5 in the last month. That's a huge red flag to them, folks. Democrats were ahead by 6 points. And now it's 1. And this is with gas prices high. This is with Iran stuck. They are in big trouble. As Derek writes here, if the issue polling is correct, GOP will probably do even better than the polls suggest, assuming the economy stays the same. This kind of advantage on crime, immigration, national defense is in total worth probably more than the economy. So as long as it's close, it's doomsday for the Democrats. And yet we get Harvard-Harris confirming as well a poll of 1,700 voters. These are left-wing polls, guys. Left-wing polls. This poll was 10 points a month ago. It's down to 2. They are screwed if we all show up. Oh, and remember, these polls are weighted. They are weighted assuming there's not going to be as big a turnout. But with the turnout we're seeing, it's absolutely proof positive we could be gaining. We could gain seats in the midterms. So don't doom. Everybody telling you there's a blue wave is wrong, especially now that we're getting numbers like this. 122,000 private hiring growth. That's ADP. That's not government numbers. This is the private sector reporting. Growth came in about 15,000 over projections. The economy is improving despite the gas prices, which Trump had this to say about.
We don't have very much inflation. Look, if you take away just the price of gasoline, the energy, we have very little inflation. We're doing very well other than this. So, but that's a big puller, energy and gasoline and all. That's a big factor.
People feel it.
So it's it's a very important thing, item. And that'll start coming down very rapidly as soon as this ends. When it ends, but what we will have is we'll have a situation where Iran will not have a nuclear weapon.
Yes.
And that's really more important than all of it. We want low gasoline. I had it down to $1.85 a gallon. Think of it, $1.85 in Iowa. I was in Iowa just before the war started. And I had it down to $1.85 a gallon in various parts of the country. And it'll be back there again at some point in the probably not too distant future. I think as soon as it ends, it's going to come. It's already, by the way, it's already way down. You know that. I mean, I saw it the other day. It's $98 a barrel.
Yeah.
So everyone said it was going to be $300-400 a barrel. It's $98 a barrel.
He's absolutely right. And Trump has the real numbers. Inflation's low. The only thing up is prices for gas, which impacts a lot of stuff. But once those go down, everything else falls down. The economy, guys, is recovering. The numbers all say it. It hasn't reached our pocketbooks all the way yet, except for the tax returns. But that will come. There's a lag effect in the economy. Once an economy starts turning around, it usually takes 12 to 18 months. It's usually another 4 to 6 months until everything starts reaching the people, which will be right before the midterms. Guys, it's going to turn around quick. We're heading in the right direction. And then there's this. For everybody looking ahead, Trump had this to say about Vance and Rubio, for everybody wondering which one's going to run.
You and play it.
It's a good idea. And I was interested when you talked about how you studied Marco Rubio and J.D. Vance as they interact. What is their interaction? And
it's good.
How do they relate?
I study to see if they like each other. I just find it interesting. It's life. It's big time stuff.
Do you do that with everyone in the cabinet?
I do it with everybody.
Do you?
Outside of the cabinet, too. I study everything.
Yeah.
I'm a studier.
Why?
Because it's interesting. It's the human thing, the human equation. So I watch them together. They get along great. They have a good relationship. They're sort of similar in a lot of ways, but they're very talented. And I think the two of them running together as a team would be very unbeatable. You and play.
You hear that? I think the two of them together running as a team would be unbeatable. I think Trump's telling us what's coming, guys. I really do. there's a lot of people who think Trump's pitting them against each other. And yet Trump keeps saying they get along great. They're like best friends. Vance and Rubio is going to be the ticket unless there's some major shock to come. And he's right. It will be unbeatable. It will be absolutely unbeatable. It will be 8 years. I'm telling you, we win this midterms, which I'm more and more thinking we're going to. California, man, it was a big indicator for me. More and more, midterms are looking better by the day. And if he pulls this off, I don't think we see blue for a very long time, maybe even a couple decades. It's trending in the right direction. We have by far the best candidates. The Democrats are imploding. They're looking crazier and crazier. They're scrambling. They can't even gain right now. When gas prices are high, temporarily high because of a war that's quote unquote unpopular, all the media people have turned against Trump that were supposedly on our side, or at least 80% of them. This should be when the Democrats are winning. This should be when the establishment Republicans are getting to say, I told you so. And what's happening? Trump is kicking their asses up, down, left, and right at every opportunity when he's at his weakest. And you're dooming? You're blackpilling? Get out of here. Get the hell out of here. Just what? How could anybody be dooming right now? Guys, it's looking very good for November. We just have to show up. Keep doing what we're doing. Keep exposing the frauds. Show up and vote, and we're going to crush it for a very long time. All right. On that note, hit that like, hit that subscribe. We're going to get into what Trump's doing on the Justice Department front right now. We're enforcing justice in our nation, fulfilling promises, and the whole Pulte freak out. That's fun to watch. We're going to hit that up next. But first, let me catch up in the chat here a little bit from that past segment. I did see a couple super chats come in. Mr. Seven Wizard says Doomer is a feminine behavior. I would say it's very, it's estrogenic male behavior, which is girly men behavior. Mr. Seven Wizard with another $2 super chat says all the Christians came before me were evil in quotes. Talrico. I would agree with that. He is that type, right? I am more enlightened than everybody else type. Yeah, that really works well every time, right? Cat Crazy Sam with the $10 super chat says, I think Trump may be pitting them against each other in a constructive way. He means Vance and Rubio. Because the ultimate job interview, may the best man win. I'll tell you what. I don't think so. And I used to subscribe to that a little bit. I think it's the opposite. I think what Trump's doing is elevating them both and putting them in the perfect places for them both to succeed on their own, so they both have records to run on come 2028 together. And they both add a ton of strength to each other. That's what I think they're doing. I don't think Trump's actually trying to get one to overcome the other. Rubio's already said he will not run if Vance runs. They don't want to compete. They're best friends. So Rubio has already ceded it to Vance. That's not going to change. Rubio doesn't want it that bad. I really don't think he does anymore. Not like he used to anyways. I think Rubio is perfectly fine staying in high profile positions so that we as a country keep winning. I think Rubio, in the Bible it says that the person who's received the most grace loves the more. In other words, the person who is in the darker place and Jesus saved them from a darker place understands depravity more, and so they understand more what they've been forgiven. So they tend to love more. And Rubio was a neocon. He was full on in the establishment wing. He was their pet project for the next run of candidates. And he was being groomed for that. But now he's seen the error of his ways and he's gone full MAGA. And I really believe Rubio is now at the point where he's like, I will do whatever it takes to win, even if that means I'm second fiddle. I think he's like, if you call me to be president, I'll step up. If I'm called to be this, I'll step up. He is the ultimate team player now. And I think Trump, I really do. I think Trump has Vance in mind to be successor. I just do. I continue to see that. Now, we could be proven wrong. We'll see how it plays out. Obviously, we're looking way ahead here. But Trump is not giving any indication he's pitting them against each other. I'm just telling you right now. We have not seen that from Trump. That is a push that people kind of want to believe, especially the people who like Rubio more. They want to believe that. But unfortunately, there's no evidence for it whatsoever. He's put Vance over here on domestic policy. Kick ass, Vance. And he is. He's going the fraud stuff. He's just crushing it. And he's put Rubio on foreign policy. Right now, Rubio's in the spotlight more because of the Iran war. Once that fades away, and once Cuba's done with the next few months, Vance is going to have 2 years where it's going to be more domestic, and that will be where Vance is shining. And we'll see the run-up start happening again. So I'm just telling you guys, to me, it looks like Vance is in position. By the way, a new poll just came out amongst Republicans only, and Vance was ahead by 40 points. So Rubio is not as close as they want you to believe. So let's see here. Any other tags? Did I miss anything? It doesn't look like it. Peter says there's a sleeping giant voter base YouTube market. They're the Dems, leftist trolls, wake up from brainwashing and Butte, motivated by self-humiliating. They know other lefties think and will fight 10 times better than anybody else. It's possible if it happens, if they get turned. They're very passionate people, you know. So, let's see here. Shroud of Truth says, when forefathers created freedom of religion, they only had the various Christian denominations in mind. He's 100% right about that. I've talked about that on my show before. So well done, Shroud of Truth. I completely agree with you on that. We weren't meant to let all this insanity come in. They just didn't think it'd ever be an issue. Let's see here. Rubio would benefit from a couple of more terms supporting president strength and potential. I mean, think about it. If we get Vance for 8 years and then we still have Rubio on deck, that's massive. That's absolutely massive. And it does. It sets us up for 16 years. And there's other people who might rise up as well. I mean, there's some really strong young Republicans right now who in 10 years would be really strong presidential candidates. So, you know, we'll keep an eye on that and how it shakes out. Rubio, you know, he might do 8 more years as VP and he might retire. He might just go off to be a family man. You never know because he'd be in his 60s by then. They couldn't predict how cringe half of us would become. I mean, the country's gotten a little crazy. Gotten crazy. I mean, one of the reasons the left is going insane is because of that. I got another person saying I have volume issues. You know, I'm sorry to tell you, most people, I ask people who are actual audio people, they say there's nothing wrong with my audio. So it makes me think that some people are watching either on phones or TVs that have weird audio stuff with the voice part. But is anybody else having issues with me? So, Fabuloso says, how is it possible generic ballot is D+1 or 2 and still be favored to win the House, taking into account secure versus toss-ups due to redistricting? They're not favored anymore if it's +1, +2. I'll tell you that right now. The thing is that based on the redistricting as of right now, the Democrats have to win by more than 4 points popular vote in order to overcome it. Okay, that's where we're at. They need to be +4, +5 to have a chance of winning now. So the people who say +1, +2, if these polls are accurate, Democrats will lose. It's just a fact. So, and they know it, but they won't say that. They'll say we're still leading. But yeah, they need to be +4, +5 to actually win because of the redistricting. Should I run a new poll? Let's wait a little longer on a new poll for Vance Rubio. We give it a little more time. It's only been a couple weeks. Cat Crazy says, my perspective with the $10 super chat. Thank you, Cat. I appreciate that. Says, my perspective on Rubio Vance situation comes from Trump's show, The Apprentice. Maybe that's why many of us feel this way. Either way, whoever we go will be great. Well, that's a good point. So you've seen Trump in action. And that's what I talk about a lot. Getting to know Trump, who he is, how he acts. Yeah. So, okay. That's interesting. Most people say my sound is fine, guys. So yeah, you might want to check your settings. Some people have their settings where the voice is like dampened compared to like music and stuff. So, but the vast majority of people say there's nothing wrong with my sound. The clips. Yeah, see, the clips are hard to control. I'm sorry. I can't always tell if they're going to be loud or quiet until I run them on the show and I see the actual volume meters on my mic. So yeah, I know they're inconsistent. I sorry about that. Okay, I'll look at the compressor filter, Kev. I'll look into that so it's more even. I think that's the real issue, right? It's not my voice. It's the inconsistency, right, between my voice and the clips. Is that the real issue? That would make sense to me, and I'll look into that. Yeah, I'm sorry. I haven't prioritized it. I need to. I really do. So thanks, guys. Peter says, it happened to me. I'm an NPR survivor. NPR survivor. I found Thomas Sowell and saw a backwards lib sent black people back 6 generations on welfare. Wake up, Dems. Piss off. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Once you wake up, man, it's huge. Hermit, with Trump being the head of the Board of Peace, dude might be around swinging the hammer of justice for a while. Well, yeah, you're right. Although he is getting old. So, okay. Let's, so Jen says, I bought a Bose speaker and the volume is now no longer an issue. It's the iPhone or iPad. So that would make sense to me because iPhones and iPads and even like stock TV mics or speakers are terrible. And so when you get real good, like a sound speaker or earbuds, it should fix a lot of issues. So, there you go. NPR had you balls deep. So you're the reason they lasted so long. I just, talk like Alex Jones more and we can hear you. Oh God. If I want my voice to be absolutely destroyed forever, that's a good way to do it. All right, let's get into this, guys. So, 2 more sections for today. All right. We're going to go through the Pulte stuff, the justice side of things, what Trump's accomplishing here domestically. And then we're going to get into the grifter report or the faggot report, depending on who you ask. I can't write faggot report on YouTube because they'll flag me for the F word. But sometimes it's appropriate. But before we go, guys, or before we get moving here, please hit the like, hit the subscribe. Thank you guys for watching. Share it with somebody. Repost if you're on X. All that fun stuff. I just realized something too. I haven't. I had to check something real quick here. Sorry, guys. Okay, we're good. All right. Yeah, hit the like, hit the faggot report pH. Testing the pH degree. You guys make me laugh. All right. Gotta get into this next segment, friends. The settle down. All right. So yesterday we got the news Bill Pulte is coming in for Tulsi Gabbard. That, my friends, is freaking the right people out. Now, I also have people writing me about how Bill Pulte is not necessarily a great guy and stuff in his past. And I totally understand that. And I'm open to that. I really am. Maybe he does have some checkered stuff in his past. I don't know well enough. I haven't researched the dude, but I can tell you this. The right people are angry right now. And that's something that I always pay attention to. And right now we have Senate Democrats moving to have John Thune force out Pulte. Listen to this.
What's the target of the administration is getting the American dream back on track after 4 years of Joe Biden destroying the housing market. The good news is we have a builder-in-chief, not just a commander-in-chief. He understands the real estate market. He understands the importance of keeping home prices high, but at the same time making it so that way people can finally afford a home again. You know, during Biden's term of 4 years, you had massive inflation. Mortgage rates went through the roof. Nobody could afford a home. And the only people who could afford a home were these big corporations with balance sheets. So it's time that corporations stop owning these homes and people start owning and living in these homes as nature intended.
So that's Pulte, and, you know, all about the mortgages and understanding Fannie and Freddie and getting it back to the people. And yet he puts him in charge of ODNI, which means he's in charge of all the intelligence agencies now. And they're threatening now to hold up FISA over it because they don't like this guy. And I'll tell you right now, it has nothing to do with his past. You know how I know that? Because they already confirmed him for this role, the federal housing role. He's confirmed. So his past isn't why they're mad. So why are they upset? Well, Tom Luongo has an interesting point here. This is a very, very big deal, he says, about Pulte. It's literally pointing directly at what's been going on at FHA for the past 18 months. You want receipts? You want signal? I've said so many times, Trump stands up to one venue to draw the fire to him, while those in the agencies where the fraud are work in the background without much scrutiny. So those in the agencies where the fraud are work in the background without much scrutiny. Here's another layer of proof. And I agree with him. Some big is happening with this Pulte thing. Truthhammer writes this: as an accountant trained in audit design, I'm excited to see the man who knows about all the mortgages and finances having access to connect the dots across intelligence files. Let's find out who can't explain their money. Purging the intelligence, purging the deep state, those people who the corrupt politicians, the funding to NGOs. You put this guy in charge? It's interesting. This is a great breakdown. Trump moved the man who's seen every mortgage, every bank record, every financial transaction of his enemies into the chair that controls all 18 intelligence agencies. Pulte, head of Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, man who oversees every home loan in America. Media's laughing. Housing guy running intelligence. They think it's incompetence. They don't understand what just happened. For 18 months, Pulte had access to mortgage files of sitting congressmen. Just like Elliot Ness getting Al Capone over taxes, there's different ways to take out snakes. Exposed fraudulent property claims by political operatives, opened investigations into financial records supposed to stay buried. One congressman filed a federal complaint last week claiming Pulte accessed his confidential mortgage files without authorization, and he didn't deny it. Now that man sits above the CIA, above the NSA, above the FBI, above every classified database in the United States. A man who already knows where they live, what they own, who paid for it, and which names are on the deeds, now has access to where they travel, who they call, and what they hide. Tulsi didn't leave because of her husband. She left because her part was finished. And that's debatable, but maybe it's true. Trump reshuffling the deck, getting ready for the next phase. Makes sense, right? Intelligence community has been restructured from the inside. Next phase does not require a diplomat. It requires a forensic accountant with top secret clearance. And I'll add this. If he is kind of a dick, if he's kind of a jerk, well, but he's a bulldog and he's MAGA, and he won't be afraid of taking people on and making some messes. And I'm okay with that. So this is one way of looking at it. And again, all the right people are scared. Democrats trying to get John Thune to force him out. Why be... If he's a joke... If he's a joke, wouldn't you want him to stay? Wouldn't you want him to stay to make Trump look bad? Wouldn't you want incompetence? They seem to celebrate it at every other turn. But this guy on day one, attack, get him out? That looks like panic to me, friends. And Mark Warner told John Thune, if he's in the job, threatening to withhold their votes for FISA. Interesting. Maybe Trump's okay with that? Here's Tom Tillis, the rhino who has been kicked out and is no longer running because he just gave up his seat as soon as he saw Trump was going to primary him because he's a wuss. Here's him talking about Pulte.
He seems to be doing okay in the current role. I don't believe he's ever had a security clearance. He clearly has no experience in intelligence. He has no geopolitical experience, no international connections, the sorts of things you would look for. He's a far cry from Dan Coates, but he's got a structural problem. He simply doesn't have 51 votes on the Senate floor, and he may not even have the votes in Intel Committee, and we just need to tell the president that clearly. Now, we'll also tell you, whoever told the president to go ahead and commit to this publicly before vetting it should lose their jobs, because they should know that the math just works against Pulte being confirmed.
You hear that panic? Oh, he can't get confirmed. Trump should have known that. Trump should fire the guy who told him Pulte. You think Trump just randomly appointed Pulte because somebody was like, Bill Pulte should be ODNI? And Trump's like, okay. Yeah, I don't think so. But Till is trying to make the point that he won't get confirmed, and that's why he shouldn't be appointed. But what does that matter? Maybe Trump doesn't need him to be confirmed. Maybe he just needs him to serve for his 200+ days. His 6+ months he can automatically have right now. Yeah, that's how it works, friends. 6 months leading up to the midterms to maybe have Pulte wreck and shop. These people are clearly panicked.
Someone could have told the president that.
What's that?
Someone could have told the president that, and it still happened.
That may be true, but then it's on the president. But hopefully somebody was out there saying, look, boss, we've done the math. He doesn't have a path. He may not even have a path through the committee, let alone any one vote.
But they'll do the acting thing. I don't think they care. Do they?
Well, I don't think the job will be taken seriously. Radcliffe is the tallest pole in the intelligence tent anyway. Right. I think that's one of the
now they're trying to demean him. Well, he just won't be taken seriously. Okay, it's a pretty serious role. Not up to you. Here's more panic over Pulte.
President just announced it.
My understanding is the Senate doesn't have a role in confirmation of an acting director, but
would you like a role?
I see no evidence of any qualifications for that job.
Well, we don't need a weaponized DNI. Professionals. If he's somebody that wanted that position permanently, he's got, as you all know, a lengthy road ahead of him.
I love how they're all trying to make it about the fact he won't get confirmed when that doesn't matter. He's acting as it right now.
We have 4 more weeks with Director Gabbard as the DNI, and I look forward to implementing last year's Intelligence Authorization Act with her to implement wide-ranging reforms that will shrink the DNI and take it back to its original.
Do you hear that? He wants Gabbard to shrink Director of National Intelligence role before Pulte comes in. They are very scared.
Intent to provide a mere coordinator or process role for the intelligence community. I have no observations on the matter.
He has no observations on the matter of Pulte's appointment. That's Republican.
Even they were laughing about it.
He has no observations on the matter of Pulte's appointment.
They are scared. They are scared. But as Brian Cates says, they can't block it. He's acting. It's like they couldn't block Todd Blanche. Pulte's going to get the 210 days. It's a long time, friends. That's 7 months. And these whining pricks can't do anything about it except whine at President Trump about his awful choice, and Trump will laugh and his faces tell them pass the SAVE Act already. The Senate, man, they are on full blast. These pathetic losers. Absolutely pathetic. So all the right people are scared about Pulte. And I'm going to take that as a real good thing, guys, as a real good thing. Now, speaking of confirmation, I just wanted to share this real quick about Democrats, what they had to say about Pulte. And this might be my favorite moment of Speaker Johnson's whole career.
On FISA, first of all, I don't think he said it's interim. It's an acting role, but he's not said that he's going to appoint somebody. So I don't think.
Well, acting is interim by definition,
always,
right?
But
okay.
let's if Democrats are...
Did you see Johnson's smile right there? See, Johnson, Johnson's got a lot of crap. And I think when Johnson came into the role as House Speaker under Biden, he was green. He wasn't ready. I think he just got thrown in. It was unexpected. There was a lot of fighting going on, and they settled on Johnson he wasn't ready. And that's why he got steamrolled a couple times. But since Trump has come in, Speaker Johnson's been amazing. He has gone past almost everything Trump wanted with 3 to 5 votes. That's all he could lose. And he's gotten it passed. He's gotten it done. He got the one big beautiful bill done. He's got a lot of stuff passed. The Senate is where it's all gone to die, not the House. Johnson keeps getting it done. I think Johnson is full MAGA. And that smile, knowing Pulte's coming in, asked about Pulte. I mean, just again, watch the response and then the smile.
Right? But okay. Let's if Democrats are not...
He's chuckling. He's chuckling. Johnson's been awesome for Trump. And so whatever you think about him on a personal level, he's been amazing since Trump came in. He's been one of the strongest, most effective leaders of the House ever. And there's no debating it. What he's accomplished with just a 5-seat majority and several of those betraying him, like Massey or Marjorie Taylor Greene dumping out, he's had times where he had only a 1-seat majority because of the defections and because of retirements. And yet he still gets it done. It's incredible. It's incredible. Anybody who knows their history of Speaker of the House, he's one of the best we've ever had. And he started bad, but he's been amazing since Trump came in.
Not going to. They say they don't trust. They said they didn't trust Gabbard, and they've said they don't trust Pulte. Could you pass FISA without Democrats? The answer:
the Democrats wouldn't trust Jesus.
He hasn't been nominated.
There's not a single person. He hasn't been nominated.
But do you? I mean, how do you handle this if you can't?
That is one of the best lines I've heard in a while. The Democrats wouldn't trust Jesus. Now that's great. That's good stuff.
Yet, if you can't have Democratic votes.
They're playing political games, Jake. The Democrats are not willing to do anything, even the most simple, basic, important responsibility to keep the American people safe, because they want to make life hard for the president. TDS, Trump Derangement Syndrome. I don't know how else to explain that. I don't think, I can't think of a single person that they would willingly go along with right now. That's where they are. And so it is a constitutional crisis, really, in one sense, because when you have a party whose sole objective every day is to stop the president, wreck the administration, make his life miserable, not go along with any of his appointments or any of his agenda, it creates a real crisis.
Think about this. Think about what he deals with, where he has an entire side completely in unison, fighting him on everything. There is literally no bipartisanship right now. There's no working across the aisle. It's just stopped because the Democrats are crazy. And with that, with not being able to pick out any Democrats, he's been able to keep the House in line to pass stuff over and over again for Trump. That's incredible, folks. It's incredible. So Johnson deserves our credit, but he also deserves credit for that Jesus line. That was unbelievable.
Jake, the Democrats are not willing to do anything. He hasn't been nominated.
FISA without Democrats? The answer:
the Democrats wouldn't trust Jesus.
So good. I'll be honest, I like Johnson more every day. He's really won me over. Now, another guy I'm liking more and more every day is this, Markwayne Mullin. He is on in a committee hearing today getting grilled over DHS. And this is his opening statement. I want to play it a little bit because I think it's important to hear everything they're accomplishing and also hear it from him, who's taken over for Kristi Noem, who he's just crushing it right now.
Chairman, and thank you for this opportunity to be in front of you. I sometimes wish that the members had to get sworn in too, so what they said would be true and factual as well. Because what the ranking member just said about in his opening statement, I feel like I have to address because I'm just not sure I'll have the opportunity to do that. So first of all, I do thank you, Chairman, for allowing me to be here today. Ranking member, thank you. And thank you for allowing the Undersecretary Troy Edgar to be here with me. I do have an opening statement. I'll send it for the record. But too often when we see opening statements, it's about making a statement. And I you know, the false statements that were made, I feel like I just have to address. I mean, when you start talking about the reckless war in Iran, what's reckless is a nuclear Iran. For 49 years, they've been threatening to death to America.
Remember, this guy was just one of them. Okay, that's why he sailed through so easy. He knows exactly how they work. Let me skip ahead a little bit because we don't need to hear the Iran stuff.
Something that is actually racism. It's just a term. Protesters and racism. The racism's a reckless term that is thrown around way too often.
Yep.
It's just it's thrown around like it is true, and yet you can't point to something that is actually racism. It's just a term when you lack the words to actually describe your hatred towards President Trump, so you just use racism. And what's bad is you feed in to what's causing our ICE agents that simply enforcing the law that Congress passed. They're not going outside the law, they're enforcing the law that Congress passed. We don't pick and choose which law we decide to enforce. We enforce the law.
Mm-hmm. This guy's good.
And because they're doing so, it's racism. But yet their death threats are up by 8,000%. Vehicular damage is up 3,300%. Assaults up 1,300%. And what's that do from? Peaceful protest? I have nothing wrong. I have no problem with people peacefully protesting. I believe in our First Amendment. Peacefully. Delaney Hall, I've had officers bit, hit, scratched. We had one get threatened that they were going to kill him and his family. That's peaceful. Damaging vehicles and property, that's peaceful. It's interesting when the governor finally put state police there, how often you guys quit saying that it was being agitated by ICE, but yet the same behavior was happening with the state police until they pushed them back far enough where they're out of camera shot, and all of a sudden the left media quit covering it. That didn't look like peaceful protest to me. I'm okay with protest in a peaceful manner. You're talking about Trump's reckless behavior. What's reckless is shutting down CBP and ICE. CBP, Customs and Border Protection. You want open borders? Because Ranking Thompson, I'm pretty sure you already said you're willing to shut them down again September. They were designed to target them and defund them. Behavior towards children? Yet,
right here.
That's reckless. You're talking about President Trump's ill behavior towards children? Yet we have found over 120,000 kids that were missing underneath the Trump administration when they lost touch of 340,000, which we fear most are now in trafficking rings.
120,000 children found out of 340,000 lost by Biden, most believed to be in trafficking rings. These are important things. This is for everybody. Again, the Epstein class, we're saving the kids.
I didn't hear anybody complaining about that. What we've done under the Trump administration is we went and rescued these kids. What is inhumane about that? Nothing. He's doing the job that Biden administration turned a blind eye to. That shouldn't ever take place. If anything we can agree on, our kids should be watched over. Now, I do look forward to answering all the rest of the questions because I'm running out of time and I won't have time to go through all the ridiculous.
All right. So just very powerful. You see who this guy is. Okay. I feel like you got a really good glimpse of who this guy is here. And I had to share this too. Look at this exchange he had with this guy is such a joke, this Thanadar guy. But anyways, here's Mark Wayne Mullen ripping him a new one.
Concerns that your post will motivate white supremacist violence. When will you stop DHS from using its social media accounts to spread bigoted and racist words and imagery promoting great replacement theory?
It's interesting how you make those claims and give no facts, but yet your party's the one that's supporting the guy that's got a Nazi tattoo.
I have the facts.
Unbelievable. So good. Your party's the one supporting the guy with the Nazi tattoo. So good.
The facts, sir.
No, there is no facts. You throw out nationalism, Nazism, and that's exactly what causes the hatred and the violence that happens to our officers every single day. And you should be ashamed of using that.
Well, look, no, it's not my words.
It is your words.
Look here.
It is your words.
Here is Colorado
Did you
Fusion
endorse the
Center.
candidate in Maine?
Here is Colorado.
Did you endorse the candidate in Maine? That's a Nazi.
Let me reclaim my time, sir. Colorado Fusion Center says ICE white nationalist messaging could lead to violence. There is just numerous reports.
Who said that? Who said that? And what is they actually?
This is Colorado Fusion Center.
Yeah, tell me exactly what message you're talking about. Now, don't give me some poll that is ran by the left is talking about.
Let me reclaim my time.
DHS said, yeah, you don't want to talk about it but you want to throw out racism all the time to my
Mr.
apartment.
Secretary,
Mr.
So good, man. He's a fighter. Absolutely love him. But that guy is such a moron. He cares about all these people, the racism, but this guy, he famously killed dozens and dozens of puppies, allowing them to stay in a facility and pass away. Yeah, he's a hateful person. So Trump just passed this, going back to going back to immigration. Now, this was huge. So there's a new Trump just truthed this out the other day, but about shutting down the banking of illegal immigrants, which is going to force a lot of them to go. They want to be able to access funds. So in this, it says to debank the illegals, funds will ultimately face impoundment and seizure. They can be returned to taxpayers. It's not ludicrous, but profoundly dangerous. Any illegal alien can simply present a blue state driver's license, Biden border document, have unrestricted access to U.S. financial system. I recently signed a new executive order, which will be led by the Treasury Department to stop banks, credit cards, financial institutions from being used to facilitate human smuggling, drug trafficking, illegal immigration, and criminal cartels who orchestrate these activities. Trump is bleeding out the cartels. For everybody's like, nothing's happening. This is a big deal. It's a BFG or BFD. Access to our nation's financial systems must be limited to those who have a legal right to be here, engage in lawful and legitimate commerce. Bank accounts being used to enable illegal immigration or to store welfare received by illegal aliens will be shut down. That is a scary thought to the banks. This sends a clear message to anti-ICE rioters. Anti-ICE rioters, your violent disruptions only strengthen our resolve. Listen to that. That is a big line right there, folks. Big line. My executive order will also allow us to stop billions in leaving our country and all manner of criminal activity. It's been said this measure we're taking is the most effective means of reversing Biden's border invasion. We'll find out. Listen, the Trump administration is so smart, okay? So smart. Because one of the big attacks on them is that we're not mass deporting. We'll never be able to get them out at this rate. We've only deported 1 million people so far. First of all, between self-deportations and deportations is almost 4 million now in just over a year. And it's ramping up because of all the new ICE agents. But also the Trump administration is not just interested in deporting. They are interested in making it impossible to live here if you're illegal. And by doing that, they will filter out millions because they can't stay here anymore. No welfare benefits, no financial institution will take your check, give you money. They're going to make it so the illegals can't stay. And that is even more effective. It's also less violent and won't be in front of the cameras. It's a better way to do it while also carrying out the deportations on the people who are more violent or more obvious. This is brilliant. And it just shows you, for everybody complaining that the Trump administration is smarter than we are, they are way smarter because this kind of stuff's brilliant. Now, here's Besant, a quick comment on it.
Look, we know that these rats will turn on each other. We heard today that one of the people who has been convicted of fraud, she was given $200,000 to bribe a juror, and she was so corrupt she skimmed $80,000 of it and only tried to give a $120,000 bribe. So we are going to offer whistleblower payments.
The rats will turn on each other. I love it.
To anyone who wants to tell us the who, what, when, where, and how this fraud has been done. And I think that will give us a great leap forward on how to get it done.
So this is what they're doing. It's the financial war. It's always the finances. It's absolutely brilliant. So they're cleaning up. Pulte is going after the deep state. That's pretty clear. We got immigration getting cleared up. The deportation stuff is just getting smarter and smarter and pushing them out. And now he's still working on cleaning up the elections. Here's the latest on that with this Miranda Devine interview.
We're the most successful country anywhere.
So someone has to be punished, though, for that. So how do you do that?
Well, I don't
you
want
don't
to
have to punish them all.
Yeah, I know. I'd rather not get into it, but
are you confident something will happen?
I don't want to talk about it. But
yeah.
Let's see what happens. The election was rigged. We know who rigged the election. We know it. We know everything now. You know, we have information that nobody thought was possible, but when you get to office, all of a sudden people start giving you things. You know, it was a great. I'll tell you, 2024 was a great election. That was a lot. There's a lot of rigging going on there too. Because you know what? I won in a landslide, but there were areas that were just rigged. I could see it.
So
rigged. In other words, rigged against me.
Yeah.
So 2020, again, it's always going back to there. And he just told us 2024 was rigged. And he also told us we have everything. It's amazing what happens when you get in office. They start giving you things. But then when asked, somebody's going to be punished. He said, I don't want to talk about that right now. That tells me something's close, guys. That tells me something's close. So will they go full all the way on to it? Like go full ham on this before the midterms? I don't know. That is the question. But whether or not it's being dealt with, I think that is obvious at this point. And here's another sign. Kurt Olson joining Joe DiGenova's team. This guy leading Trump administration's election integrity effort, including re-examining Trump's 2020 defeat, investigating disproven vote rigging theories as a special government employee with the White House. And then the headline, of course, Trump 2020 election denier Kurt Olson joins the Justice Department. Yeah, they're bringing him in. The guys who know, the guys who've been doing the work are coming in to the Justice Department now. They're building it up as the grand juries are going, and right as Tulsi is getting ready to leave and might be dropping bombs in this next month, we're seeing the chess pieces put in place. And then we're still getting the fraud cleanup. Here's John Solomon talking about what Lee Zeldin is now doing. Listen to this one.
Now, one more piece of accountability before I turn things over to my amazing co-host Amanda Head. Today, I interviewed Lee Zeldin, the EPA chief, and he said that he's been digging into that $29 billion in green energy grants that he blocked, money that he saved the American taxpayers. It was going out the door at the end.
$29 billion was scheduled by the Biden administration to go out and was blocked. It was already scheduled. They'd already passed it. It was supposed to go out. It was one of their last big, here you go, last big payoffs before the Trump administration could get going. But they got in soon enough to block it. And now they're investigating it. This is huge.
The end of the Biden administration. He told me today he has found a major self-dealing scandal. In other words, Obama and Biden administration officials were moving money around.
Did you hear that? He slipped up there. He said Obama or Biden administration officials. He knows he was really controlling the Biden administration.
To former cabinet secretaries, to donors, to political activists. Stacey Abrams, one of them. We know about that from our reporting earlier this year. And that he's now made several criminal referrals. Go check out that story.
Criminal referrals.
Tomorrow morning at justthenews.com. We'll have all the details, all of the...
Let me back up real quick. Do you hear what he said? The criminal referrals. He tells us who some of these people were.
Former cabinet secretaries, to donors, to political activists. Stacey Abrams, one of them. We know about that.
Cabinet secretaries, donors, activists. We're all going to get kickbacks. $29 billion.
From our reporting earlier this year. And that he's now made several criminal referrals. Go check out that story.
All right. So... it's stuff's happening, folks. It's happening. Remember, you build it all up, you work behind the scenes, you build the cases, and then it's like it happens all at once. It's getting good. It's getting good. And then Trump asked about Todd Blanche. Well, Todd Blanche has been absolutely crushing it, and it looks like he might be with us a while. Listen to this.
Todd's doing a very good job at DOJ.
Will he be Attorney General, or have you decided?
I think he will, yeah.
You haven't got someone else in mind?
No.
Not Ron DeSantis?
I wanted to see how he's received. You know, we put him as acting, and he's done a very good job. But I've known him a long time.
Someone mentioned Ron DeSantis might be in.
See how she's pushing the DeSantis thing? She's trying to get an answer on this. And what did I tell you guys? Trump is not thinking about DeSantis for AG. We talked about this, 2 days ago? But Trump doesn't trust DeSantis enough to have him that close, although he's about to say some very nice things about DeSantis. But Blanche is the guy, and I think he's always been the guy, but Trump was going to do it in this way. Let Bondi come in first, clean up, and then bring the bulldog in. Remember, Blanche was Trump's personal attorney. He knows him well.
The mix to be Attorney General.
No, Ron's very good. Ron's very good. You know, people have thought of different names. There are some good names. No, I had never thought, Ron never talked about it. You know, he's a governor doing a good job. But Ron's good. He's a friend of mine. Just named an airport after me. You know, they named the Palm Beach International Airport. The president, Donald J. Trump.
Well, you use it all the time.
International Airport.
Yeah.
So that's a great honor, you know.
Yeah.
No, there are a lot of great people. The Republican Party, we have great people.
So are you happy with the pace of what the Department of Justice is doing? There's so much trying to find out.
Well, much more
Antifa.
so now than at the beginning.
Yeah.
They are, there's a lot of things going on right now.
There's a lot of problems inside.
Look, we had a rigged election. Todd's doing a very good job.
He goes on to talk about how the Justice Department was full of bad people and they had to clear them out. So he basically admits to what Bondi was doing. And then finally, he came out with this just this morning. This from the White House from 2 hours ago.
From the very first day I took office, our administration has waged the most successful war on crime in American history. Last year, the murder rate saw the single largest decline ever recorded, falling to the lowest level in 125 years. We've reduced the fentanyl coming across our border by 60%, from Washington to Memphis to New Orleans to our southern border. We are restoring law and order to America. Now we're taking our next big step to defend public safety in America. At my direction, the Department of Justice is beginning what we're calling the Model Cities Initiative to slash violent crime in major metropolitan areas all across our country. In selected cities, the Department of Justice will provide $300 million in grants to hire police officers, modernize equipment, provide training, and improve law enforcement. This historic funding will go to confronting substance abuse, preventing youth crime, and combating repeat offenders. In short, we're committed to making historic investments in improving the quality of life of city residents nationwide. For the next 90 days, any city or local government representing a population of more than 100,000 people can apply to take part in this exciting new program. It's amazing. Tell your local representatives to apply now by going to www.justice.gov/grants. With your help, we will put more police on our streets, and we will put dangerous criminals behind bars where they belong, and we want to keep them there. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a good time. You're amazing people.
I love how he closes it. This is big. So the Trump administration just outright admitted it is cracking down time. So we're going after the regular crime, but when people feel safe, they notice clean streets. That's a big wake-up call to people. All in time for the midterm. So now you're going to get the economy starting to turn around. Things are going to feel safer. And as people start feeling safer, they start feeling more okay when somebody maybe famous gets indicted, somebody they like or did like gets busted. You see how they're just timing everything. It all makes sense. Like the chess pieces just keep coming in order. And interesting, Trump announced this the first week of June. First week of June is very, very interesting timing. So again, I just feel like we're seeing everything come in order. Everybody has been waiting for arrests, waiting for justice. Guys, it's pretty clear we're headed in that direction. So hang in there. The Trump administration is not messing around. I'm very thrilled about what we're seeing. All right. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. We still got a Grifter report coming up. We're going to go through Megyn Kelly and Shawn Ryan. There a lot of the craziness going on in that, the blackpilling, doom-pilling they're pushing out there, and we're going to laugh at it. But first, let me catch up in the chat. That was kind of a long segment. Let's see here. Did have a couple super chats come in. We have I Speak For You with the $10 super chat. Thank you for the support. He says, I heard we're arming the Iranian people. Any truth to that? I live in Cali and excited for the future. Amen, brother. Excited for the future as well. I believe we are trying to arm them. How successful that's been, I can't say. I know we gave weapons to the Kurds to give to them, and the Kurds kept them. But that was a couple of months ago. So I can't speak to what we're doing, but I can definitely tell you that is something the Trump administration desires to do. And we'll have to see if they're able to pull it off. Fabuloso vibes with the $20 super chat. And it just says, I've watched you for free for months chipping in. I appreciate that, Fabuloso. You're amazing, and thank you so much. One of the many joining member for 1 month. Expiration dates now on Congressional Summer Homes. Pulte going to get them. And then we got Foundation Preacher member for 7 months now. That is awesome. Thank you for your continued support. You guys are amazing. Let me make sure I'm not missing any good tagged stuff in here. Any other people reaching out with anything? Let's see here. This is an interesting comment. The Hermit says, I can tell you with full confidence and knowledge, DA offices are absolutely infested with Marxists that outright refuse to enforce the law. You're 100% right. You know why? The reason is because Soros made a huge initiative a decade ago. It was a while back to fund all these crazy left-wing DAs and get them in power. And so he funded them in a major push. And that's why there's so many crazy DAs. So, Justin Mimo says, what's not to love about MAGA? As a Canadian, I just don't get TDS. As somebody who loves Trump, I agree with you. Put together AI videos like Pratt, I don't have the time. He's got professionals. I know how to do short AI videos, but to do them on the level he does, it's like 3 to 5 minute videos. That is hard. That is actually hard. You have to know exactly what you're doing. I don't have the time for that, unfortunately. Why can't Rich Does Politics, Promethean come together to develop Pratt-style AI videos? I don't know how to do them. I don't, that you have to have a very specific engine that is running them. And because AI videos only clip right now at like 10 seconds a piece, maybe 30 seconds if you're lucky. And then you have to do it perfectly to get the next one to complement the first one. It's not easy. It's not easy. It's only easy if you're a programmer, and I'm not. I don't think any of those people are. Let's see here. Shroud of Truth says, remember who was backing DeSantis when he ran for POTUS? Every rhino. It's true. Yeah. All the people who are now complaining about Trump were backing DeSantis then. So that tells you something right there, right? I don't trust DeSantis, even though I do think he's a great governor. I really do. So. Cat Crazy says we need that all at once moment, but they might wait until a couple of months before the midterms. I think they could. Yeah. Hermit says Obama's a stooge. Well, he's a stooge, but he's a Manchurian candidate. He was groomed by Brennan, brought over, and used to push this globalist agenda, and basically he was positioned to destroy America because we were the only thing standing in front of the globalist takeover, the City of London takeover. And he was positioned to weaken us, and Clinton was going to finish the job, and they didn't do it because God gave us a miracle, and Trump won in 2016. That's why. Herman says, I can't say too many details. The law school I know had an actual full coup in order to ensure all new attorneys get hooked up in government DA work or card-carrying members. Wow. That's crazy. I hope that story comes out someday. It'd be great to be publicly put out there. So, yep, Talrico as well. You went to traffic school a few weeks ago and you're the only English-speaking person there? That's crazy. That's so sad. That was in Cali, right, Taya? That's where you're from? So, there might have been some grooming of Obama by Bush, but Brennan is the guy. Brennan's the mastermind behind Obama. We have this. We have the receipts on this. Brennan is he's the CIA director under Obama. He's the real mastermind behind the City of London deep state in America and connection there. And yes, he has connections to the Bush clan and all these other places, absolutely. But he was specifically tied to Obama. And that's, we have a lot of evidence for that. I think DeSantis has a chance to become a Supreme Court justice or be nominated. But yes, I also could see him getting another opportunity somewhere. Every president's related to each other except for exception of Trump. Well, I'd be interested in seeing that. I don't believe that, but there might be some truth. But once you get into like third, fourth, fifth cousins, that's not really related. Bobby says, I have a friend who met Obama on a beach in Hawaii and he boasted he was going to destroy America. What? Oh, that's crazy. That's like a little too on the nose. Do I doubt it? No, I'm just saying that's pretty crazy. So, yeah, Obama's going to UK. They're always trying to shadow government, keep the shadow government going on. They always are trying to. So, yep, it's what they do. They're all together. George Bush Sr. was definitely a huge deep stater. He was the guy, CIA director, and just, yeah, he goes way back. He was appointed. They told Reagan, like, the only way we support you is if you make Bush VP. So he allowed Bush to be VP, and then, it's just, yeah, just crazy stuff. And he laughed maniacally. That's hilarious. That was Obama's pickup line. Well, then it would be to a dude. All right. HW is a plant from Ivy League intelligence, blah, wrangle. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I agree with that. Yeah. All right. You guys ready? Let's get into this. So, here's Nathan Livingstone sharing this clip right here. It says, now I covered a little bit of this the other day, okay? But there's more to cover, so I want to get into it. Shawn Ryan needs to be exposed more and more. But so yesterday it was dropped, or maybe it was Monday. It was dropped, this podcast with Megyn Kelly and Shawn Ryan. As people are picking it apart, I didn't listen to the whole thing. As people are picking it apart, though, they're seeing more and more, it's becoming obvious just how ridiculous the things these people are saying are. And so, as Livingstone says it, they dropped a 3-hour blackpilling therapy session with Megyn Kelly, wallowing in doom, conspiracy slop, and hopelessness. Here's a little clip.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what to think about anything anymore, to be honest with you. I think the one thing that I'm the most concerned about is Israel.
Oh my God. I might as well just start the whole segment over, huh, guys? I can't believe I stayed muted on that. Sorry. All right. I don't know how far back I was muted, so let me try that again, shall I? All right. Let me just. So I don't know how much I missed. Sorry, guys. I wasn't reading the chat. I was reading the post. But okay, so Ryan and Megyn got together, did this whole blackpilling session. It's the Jews and everything is bad and blah, 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 blah. Just terrible stuff, right? And so people are clipping it because, and thank God now, it's getting more and more obvious how ridiculous these people are and what the PSYOP is. Well, Scott McMahon, who I actually have a lot of disagreements of, but he nails this right here, says the objective is your hopelessness, which means the point is to blackpill. The point is to teach you there is no hope, okay? And what he writes right here is they want you to lose hope in Trump, Republican Party, election systems, courts, local, state, national elections, most of all in God himself. Don't let them crush your hope. Now, here, I'm going to push back a little bit right here. This stuff right here doesn't necessarily deserve our hope, the institutions themselves. What does deserve our hope is the fact we can overcome them and reform them. And that's something that Trump has taught us and then proven to us over and over and over again. So it's not the institutions they want you to lose hope in. They want you to believe you can't fix this. You can't overcome it. That it's all fixed forever. That's what they want you to believe. And that's what all of them are pushing. Tucker Carlson, Megyn Kelly, Candace Owens, Alex Jones. And what they do is they dangle little carrot sticks of hope that are basically impossible to pull off. Whitney Webb is a big one of this. That's what they keep pushing because they want you to believe that all of this is a disaster that cannot be fixed. And this is a big one in God himself, because with God, there's always hope for any impossible situation. But this is why the doomers continue. Now, here's a couple interesting clips. Here's Shawn and Megyn talking about the 2024 election.
Kind of like that time
I hate that I got placed in that. I never even wanted Trump to win until.
Do you hear that? Shawn Ryan now saying, I never wanted Trump to win. So he's admitting he's a leftist, he's a globalist. Because you cannot be on the team of the good guys and not have wanted Trump to win in that matchup. I'm sorry, it's impossible. You just can't. You either have to be completely retarded, completely ignorant, or you have to be on their side. And since he's former CIA, you can guess. But saying he doesn't want them to win, that's a crazy thing to say.
Oh, he was the only guy to vote for. But
Well, that's the problem, is that elections remain binary choices. So it's like, do I wish I had voted for Kamala? Hell no.
that's not what I meant. I meant during all the other people that were running for the Republican side, I was like, please just get one of these other people in.
Yeah.
You hear that? Please get one of those other people in, which means Nikki Haley, DeSantis. Haley is the one who hung around the longest. That tells you all you need to know. Nikki Haley is clearly a deep state establishment one type.
Yeah.
And then when he got it, I was like, oh, fuck. And then I was like, please don't put anybody that's worth a shit in the administration because you're going to be garbage afterwards. There's no chance, especially right now.
You're not feeling optimistic about J.D. Vance 2028?
Here's the J.D. Vance attack again. What do I keep telling you guys? Why do all the bad people hate J.D. Vance? I'm just going to let that hang out there.
No, or Rubio, or anybody that's in there, because they're all yes men fucking puppets.
Oh.
Now
they're all MAGA. That's the truth.
Now they're all talking about Catholicism, which I think is fucking hilarious.
Well,
let's talk about Catholic. Oh, you're a fucking Catholic all of a sudden?
There's no way to be in the Trump administration without being a yes man. You won't last.
The fastest growing Christian denomination in the world right now. Now all of a sudden we're going to advertise that we're fucking Catholic.
J.D. Vance has been Catholic since well before the Trump administration. These people are crazy, man. This is crazy stuff.
Right.
That's the dooming, guys. And it tells you this guy is a total fraud. Okay. They're trying to make you doom about the future. They want it out there that we can't let any of these people in. They're trying to get us to turn not just against Trump anymore. Remember, it used to be Trump's the crazy one. Trump, 25th Amendment him. But now they're going after Vance, Rubio, and like he said, no one who's in there can survive. No one is in there can be supported. Why? Because they're all MAGA now. They're all MAGA. They're anti-globalist deep staters. Now, I already played this clip. This is the one where she calls MAGA small and everything. But Shawn Ryan, they're attacking him. What's the point of voting? And Megyn Kelly's talking about a third party. It's not because the right's heading towards disaster. They're trying to engineer a loss through demoralization because if we win, they don't matter. We just saw this in the Thomas Massie thing. With Thomas Massie, what did we learn? You guys don't matter. And that's why they had to blame it on the Jews. That's why they had to blame it on AIPAC. Because they had to have somebody they could shoot at who has a little more money than us. We matter, but they just have the money. What do you want us to do? We suck. They have nothing anymore. They can't get any wins. Massie was the tell. And now they're all scrambling. And you notice they're getting worse and worse, which means they know they can't come back. They know they can't make their way back. They've gone too far. And now they're straight up just being opposition. What Shawn Ryan just said in this clip is straight opposition. Now, here's something interesting, which I didn't know. But here's a Cape Coral, Florida mugshot of Sean Palmisano, a.k.a. Shawn Ryan. Now, to be completely fair, I have not had time to fully verify this. But when you see the picture, I'm saying, I think this is probably right. Okay. I think this is probably right. But if I'm wrong, I'll run I'll admit it if this is proven wrong. But Shawn Ryan is a very generic name. It's the exact kind of name you'd take on as a pseudonym. So this is mugshot Sean Palmisano, ex-military drug trafficker. Multiple overdoses, ran full networks in South America, then got clean, rebranded as a podcaster, immediately turned on Trump. Meme was right. Dude went from trafficking hard drugs to trafficking anti-Trump BS and betrayal. No redemption arc, snake with new skin. Same grifter energy, selling out the movement that gave him a platform. Leopards don't change their spots. Controlled opposition or straight up traitor? I think they're all controlled opposition, just to be honest with you. Especially the ones with the CIA ties. There might be some that just grift for the money. But the ones that come out of nowhere, that just show up and have CIA ties to them, I got to tell you that that to me, that tells me they're controlled. They are controlled assets. But the good news is, folks, we're waking up to it. We're waking up to the grift, and Shawn Ryan is one of the main grifters. But there's a lot of them out there, and they're starting to get destroyed. Here's a little clip of Cenk Uygur getting owned, absolutely owned by Douglas Murray. Now, you'll remember Douglas Murray had an exchange with Dave Smith a few months ago where the internet just went nuts for Dave Smith and went after Murray. But it's turning out that Murray's actually one of the good guys. Listen how he completely exposes Cenk Uygur to his face.
But you only really get animated if the Jews are involved. And I can tell that for the following reason. I mean, your surname's Uyghur, isn't it? 1 million Uyghur Muslims in China have been put in concentration camps in the last decade. And people of your ilk never really care about that, do you? Because it's not the Jews doing it, it's the Chinese Communist Party. 1 million Afghans are currently being forcibly deported from Pakistan to Afghanistan. You don't care about that. You're not riled up about that. You're not riled up about what the Janjaweed are currently doing in Sudan, where thousands and thousands of people are being attacked by the Islamist militia there. You don't care about any of that. You get exercised and you rile up what little base you have of malcontents because you're riled up when the Jews do anything. I don't know if you ever even leave your own bedroom.
Man, what a smackdown. I don't know if you even leave your own bedroom. That was amazing. These guys, man, people are waking up and they're fighting back. This is excellent. It's getting better and better, and their followings are getting smaller and smaller because the whole Jews shtick they ran on, they went as far as it could go. And now it's starting to backlash upon them. You know, one way I know this, and now I gather this is anecdotal evidence, but I can tell you that 2 months ago, 3 months ago, 2 months ago, 3 months ago, 4 months ago, when I used to cover this stuff, my chat would light up with people defending it, telling me I'm wrong, telling me I'm a Jew lover, I'm a Zionist. Look at that nose, they'd say to me. They would go after me. Attack after attack after attack. You know what's happened the last few months, especially the last month? Mostly crickets. I've had a one or two come through, but mostly crickets. These people are fading away. The bots, maybe they're not getting paid anymore. Or the real believers, maybe they're waking up and getting tired of it. It's falling apart on them. And it's backfiring. It's taking out their platforms. It's taking out their followings. It's taking away their money, which means they're even more dependent upon the money from the handlers, which means they're going to go more and more all in. Now, Cenk's an easy one because he's a hardcore leftist commie. But Shawn Ryan, Megyn Kelly, Tucker, Candace, all of them, man. It's a huge network of these people. And the exposure is happening, and we're getting more and more glimpses like this. So today, this guy, or yesterday, he released this story. Why did Bernie Sanders, Mehdi Hasan, and the New York Times all rush to defend Thomas Massie? The people who hate everything he stands for wanted him to win. The Thomas Massie problem. Libertarians say AIPAC took Massie out. The truth is harder, and it's why they always lose. Now, I'm not going to go through this full 11,000-word essay, but the stuff is coming out, and more people are picking up on it. This is a libertarian, and Tom Luongo breaks it down really well here. He says, this is a good piece. Clay's well-intentioned man. He's not hard enough on the losertarian generals he names. Dave Smith, Thomas Woods, Liberty Lock Pod. That's my job. These people like Massie and MT Green and the rest of the true MAGA crowd are nothing but agent provocateurs at this point. That's exactly what I've been saying. They're not voices for change. They are the Pied Pipers to lead you right back to the level of control Davos and London exerted before they had jobs. That is true. They want to go back. They miss the good old days when we were not awake, we were dooming, we were pathetic, before Trump, before anyone knew their names, before they wasted time. Because when the time came to jump on board and move the ball forward to fight the real enemy, make real durable change, which is right now, they went to opposition. They broke bread with literal communists who would kill their children as soon as look at them for having been anything like MAGA. All true. Lawbertarians, or like I call them, libertards, like these people don't believe in anything. They have no ethos. They're against oppression. They are pro-liberty, but what does that mean? How do you build it? What does ethos become telos? We have the answer. 50 plus years of not bringing anyone along for the ride. endless purity spiraling, endless ideological possession. Tom Woods says he's further to the right of Pat Buchanan. Pat built something that scared the establishment. So the further you go in one direction, the more you look like the other side. And the smaller the movement you build. This is why libertarians will never accomplish anything. When I spoke at the Mises donor conference, speech no one saw, and I hit the part where I made the argument we'd grown stale, I made them look at themselves hard, saying that if we're honest with ourselves, this strategy is working. 16 years after Ron Paul took down Rudy Giuliani, there would be 2,000 people in this room, not 200. Tom Woods makes a comfortable living. Dave Smith makes a comfortable living. Clint Russell makes a comfortable living. The LP, Libertarian Party, adopted my slogan, be ungovernable, for their 2024 convention model, and none of them knew where it came from. Ages ago, my first college roommate, a conservative from Sarasota, said to the politically ignorant me that libertarians were proof positive political spectrum is a circle, not a line. He was right. They're permanent revolutionaries, uninterested in building anything. And that's why they not only have a laughable political force with delusions of adequacy, they're mean, spiteful little men who destroy every good thing they touch. Communists don't build anything. All they do is critique what is to justify the violence in their hearts. What a great post. Communists don't build anything. All they do is critique what is to justify the violence in their hearts. That, my friends, is in a nutshell exactly what the whole faggot crowd is doing right now. Critiquing to justify the violence in their hearts. And where does it come from? City of London, who has a track record of coming up with ideologies like communism and libertarianism. Why? Because it tears things apart. It puts the powerful people in control. Because you get the libertarians who are so ideological pure, they never accomplish anything, and that pulls off a lot of people who could be a problem. And then they get the communists who, for free stuff, are willing to give up their rights and security to the powerful. And what happens? The powerful win in both ways. That's how you win. And the one person who has proven this to us after all these years is Donald J. Trump, which is why I'm a loyalist. And I don't care what anybody thinks about it. I'm loyal to the man because he's the only true leader that's shown us how to win and how to get where we want. And the last thing I wanted to share from Luongo today is him calling out Dugin, just like I was, saying he's never been Putin's brain, Dugin being the mastermind behind a lot of these people, as I've been covering in my latest videos. He was never Putin's brain. He was always the London snake in the Russian garden. Now his entire coterie of podcast bros, from Tucker to the Judge to Bannon to the pro-Russian alt-geopolitical crowds, are exposing themselves, but it was always from Dugin. And it remains so. He being the guy to put it into philosophical terms, ways to be expressed, ideologies that these people can communicate so they can push this nonsense out there to blackpill us into hopelessness and make us ineffective. And that's what they're doing, folks. And they're doing it with little smirks on their face and money in their pockets, but their following is collapsing as we're all waking up to it. So that's today's Grifter Report, and we're winning. That's the number one thing, because MAGA, the side of Trump, following our leader, restructuring this country, preparing other leaders to rise up once Trump leaves, that's what they're most scared about, as this clip proved. And it's because it's happening. They can't stay hidden anymore. It's all assets deployed time because we are kicking their ass. All right. Guys, if you enjoyed today's show, please hit that like, hit that subscribe. Before we go today, I'm going to catch up with the crowd a little bit. Stephen Jacques has joined as a member. Welcome, Stephen. You now have access to all the members' lives on YouTube, and thank you for the support. I greatly appreciate it. Let me make sure I didn't miss anything before I catch up with the most recent stuff. Let's see here. Because I have mods. What's that about? Bendy Queldy? The fascists of the future will call themselves anti-racist from the KGB. Oh, that's a good quote right there. Is that a real quote? Interesting. Anita Farron says, someone they did a bunch of panels with Cenk. He was nice and calm and as can be until on camera. And then he started yelling and insulting and being a jerk. Yeah, he's a phony. He plays a role. Nikki for Freedom, I never had issues with asking questions about Israel, but the whole blame the Israel and Jews phenomenon is more than that. It's radical and extreme. I completely agree with you. Question them, condemn stuff they do that's bad, but do not go down the road of believing they control everything. It's so stupid. Massey's biggest donors from Iranian. Absolutely. Anita says, Thomas Massey's the only politician Whitney Webb ever said anything nice about. Well, there you go. That teaches you, shows you everything. Herman says, Jews hate is equivalent to capitalism hate. Oh, Jews hate. I got you. Simply another shade of grievance, divide and conquer, politicking. It's not that they or money can't be validly criticized. It's usually not. Yeah, I completely agree with you. Absolutely. Seems all the fraudcasters can identify and define problems. They seem to assign blame on the wrong side. So it's paid. I agree. Well, not only that, they don't even give most solutions, except for impossible ones that'll never happen. And that's how they keep you dooming, because you're like, oh man, that just isn't going to happen. We can't get to there. So, Cat Crazy, who owns a lot of London's high dollar properties? Qatar. Yeah. And the Khomeinis. What else does Qatar own? Tucker Carlson. Libertarianism grew as a grease trap of those who believed in American ideals, didn't know where to put them. After Kissinger's rhinos took them Republic. Oh, that's partly true. It does go back further than that, but there's some truth to that. Absolutely. PSYOP Receipts, welcome, friend, and has just gifted 10 American Fire memberships. That's amazing. Thank you for the support. And for everybody else that is now members, you now get access to the members' lives. So that's awesome. Thank you, PSYOP Receipts. That's a great gift. I appreciate it. John Dank says, is Newsmax a reliable source? Well, I'd say this. I don't think anybody that's like a mainstream news source is completely reliable. But do they do a better job than most? Yes, absolutely. And you could probably trust most of their regular reporting. Just be careful when you're listening to their breakdown on stuff. You never know when they're going to insert certain things in there. All right. Matthew went sports fishing, caught an MTG. Oh my God, throw it back. I like it. I love it. Kathy says, Sean looks like a man in pain. All you need to do is paint the clown making on his face. He looks like crying clown. He kind of does, huh? Sitting so low. You know what we should watch again, guys? We should watch the Ami clip just to laugh at, because it was so stinking funny. We watched this last night. So, I know a lot of you weren't here last night. So we're going to watch this again. Here's Ami making fun of Sean and Megyn.
What do you think is going on? Why are people so upset? Yeah, I think people are very disappointed. Like, very disappointed. In people they've trusted who've just done a complete 180 on their beliefs, on their positions. And they're sick of it, Mm-hmm. Right. And so when you have people that you've looked up to, that you followed, that you trusted, and they just let you down.
That's exactly how Megyn cusses too. She just randomly throws cuss words in for no good reason.
They change their positions and they don't follow through on the beliefs that they say they've had. I think that's disheartening. I think they're disillusioned. I think they're disappointed, and they have a right to be. Yeah, I mean, people will stop trusting you if you just completely change who you are. Like that.
Kills me.
And over the years, you have these people who talk about Israel and how they're constantly attacked from the north by Hezbollah or from Hamas or Iran, and rockets are coming in on all these Israeli civilians and citizens hiding out in bomb shelters. But what I want to know is, how do you deal with attacks? And people are coming at you. How do you deal?
That's the Israel stuff and just turning it into like, now, by the way, how about your attack? Like, they have nothing to do with each other. It's so funny.
With that, because that seems hard. I mean, look, if you're going to let somebody's personal attacks on you define your positions, you're not going to get ahead in this business. Right. You know? So I just kind of shrug it off. Like, for someone to just change who they are or their positions on an issue because of one personal attack or criticism, I mean, that's just ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Yeah, I mean, it begs the question, you know, what kind of person would you have to be to completely change your whole view on things, on positions you've held for a long time just because of one personal attack or criticism? You know, I'm just not going to let it affect me. I don't care what my haters say. I don't care what my critics say. It's not in any way, shape, or form going to affect my positions on any particular issue. A personal attack or criticism, privately or publicly, that's not going to define how I react. That's not going to determine how I evaluate the facts and the data and principles and values. It's just not. Yeah. For a single comment or critique or insult even, for that to make you radically change your positions or worldview, if you do that, there's something wrong with you. Totally. So f*** off. Mm-hmm. And most of these people, they just resort to personal attacks. They have nothing else. All they do is personally attack you. If that's all you have, if that's all you have to say, there's something wrong with you, and you shouldn't be trusted or followed or listened to. Does Mark Levin have a micro penis? Yup. Yeah, me too, by the way. Looks like a mosquito bite. Shit. You know, at the end of the day, I mean, the lack of self-awareness is just astounding. It is. It really is. Yeah.
Unbelievable, man. So good. This guy is amazing. All right, guys, on that note, I'm going to call it a day. Went long today, but I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please hit the like and subscribe on your way out. Let's end in a prayer because prayer is working. We are winning, and, you know, we'll just continue to keep doing this day after day. So, Heavenly Father, thank you for today. God bless everybody watching this, Father. Thank you for them. Thank you for their support and just them showing up, Lord. I just believe there's a lot of patriots here. So bless them, Lord. Help us all know what it is we can do to make sure we keep winning, take our country back and make it better than ever before. Bless our president, Father. Bless him with protection, God, wisdom and courage for everything he faces, as well as everybody around him. This nonstop barrage of attacks, God, but just, God, keep the base awake to what's going on and strong so that we can just continue to fool the wisdom of the world, Lord, by just beating them back. And Father, I pray for our nation, for prosperity, justice, and peace to come to our nation like never before. Help us leave a better nation to our kids, grandkids, and great-grandkids, God. And again, just, Lord, just lead us to wherever we can do, each individually, to make sure, Lord, this lasts. And so we thank you, Father, for the miracle that was the Trump administration, this MAGA movement. And God, we pray for decades ahead of better things. In Jesus' name, amen. Thank you all for watching. Appreciate you so much. Foundation Preacher with a $2 super chat just got in there. Glam Plattner, dead fish on their neck. Yeah, no joke. All right, guys, I appreciate you all so much. Thank you guys again, and I will see you all tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel, 12 Eastern, 9 a.m. Western. God bless. See you then.